Hello everyone and welcome back to Two Andrews, One Barbell. I'm Andrew Rowe.
I'm Andrew Blackwood.
And we are joined today by...
Andrew Adam Phillips.
Yes, this is episode 24.
Yeah.
I'm trusting Andrew here. And Adam, for those of you who don't know, is my coach. So that's all you need to know. And we're going to go from there.
Yeah.
So...
Are you going to title it Adam Odyssey?
Hell no.
Hell
No, we're
okay.
titling it Andrew's coach.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
No, we just have to wait to get something incriminating out of you, and then we make that the title.
Okay,
And then
okay.
instead of putting your name in it, we're going to put Andrew's coach.
Cool.
So this could be a 4-hour-long episode. So if you're listening on Spotify, buckle
Buckle
up.
in.
And if it's YouTube, get popcorn.
Yep.
Or...
Whoa, I was going to say something out of pocket. We can't start off like that.
No, that's exactly how to start off. What were you going to say?
No. Okay, we got to warm up a little bit.
All right.
Yeah,
We
we
can't
gotta
go
warm
straight
up.
in, no kiss.
We had to brief. We had to brief Adam a long list.
Yeah,
Oh.
of things he's not allowed to say.
Yeah, like
It's
a
the
non-
worst,
uh,
man.
he signed
Famously.
it.
Yeah.
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 So, when was the last time you did an episode of a podcast?
Not my own one.
No, your own.
Like ages ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
been a minute.
The Nationals preview, I guess. I hate doing Nationals preview episodes, so that's kind of taking the wind out of the sails for now.
Why do you hate them?
It's just a lot of pressure, isn't it? Like I like being a fan of the sport, but when you are publicizing your opinions, people take that like it's personal. Do you know what I mean? To try and see it from their point of view, I guess I probably wouldn't like it if someone was like, "Nah, he's not going to podium."
This guy sucks.
Nah. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, especially in this sport where we place so much value on all of that it's just such an awful position to be in where you can't really give your honest assessment of it. You kind of have to add in like, but this person's a great person. I say that all the time.
I don't want to be a hater because you do them. I almost feel like they're kind of pointless sometimes because it's like anyone can win on the day. So you
Well-
say a thing and then you have to say at the end, but anyone,
I
whoever has a
try
good day,
so hard
to not do it.
to not do that. And the last episode, I was convinced into doing it. I was like, right, I'm only going to do it
Yeah.
if we really genuinely prep for it. Like, like where we can do a podcast on each class.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'm doing it. And to be fair, I think we did a good job. Didn't piss that many people off. But there still was some, like, before the episode, like, right, here's this class.
Yeah.
You pick this person, I pick that person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that's, you know
Why is
what?
that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Why is that?
Just for political
That's fair.
reasons. But I don't know.
So you're fake is what you're saying.
So I'm not a fake. Yes.
Andrew's coach is fake.
So
Fuck,
one of,
that's
the,
title.
one of the things we had him sign was no line on this
No
podcast.
line, yeah.
So
Ah,
every
famous.
question we ask is going to be answered truthfully.
No.
Yeah.
In fairness, you did good on that one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. What was it? The other reason I don't like it is because of the international coaching. It's like you don't want to end up in a warm-up room with someone that you've
Okay. Upset.
accidentally upset. You know what I mean? Or that maybe the upset is adjacent to you.
I understand.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's one of my. I'm actually never going to do one again. We made that decision after the last time. I just have
I back it.
no interest in that. Any content I want to make, I want to make like useful content.
Like
And
what?
Just stuff like, I don't know, like a lot of.
Like a Nationals recap.
Man, we should start doing it.
I actually love.
No. Cut the cameras.
I'd love to see. Just do one so that we can actually empathize and talk on it because it is just such a.
No,
crap.
that's
No way.
classic,
I think
yeah.
that was the conversation we had early on, that we wouldn't do that. I think another reason is, in case you didn't know, we have listeners from 52 countries on this
52.
podcast.
God
So-
damn. What is it, like 89% Ireland, 10%
Minus
UK?
1%.
Like
everyone else.
Myanmar is down there. Andrew's Myanmar fan base.
No, in fairness, we actually have a pretty good spread. We have a good spread
That's
around
good.
Europe, Australia, in America.
That's what you're known for, man.
Huh?
Good spread.
That's crazy.
You just narrowed his legs when you said it.
Yeah, so I think it just wouldn't make sense for us to do it.
Nah.
it wouldn't
It's a
really be as
nice
applicable.
idea. It's like, right, the reason we do it is like to quote unquote give back.
Yeah.
I mean, you also do it because you know it's going to get loads of listens. But it is like a resource that does help in like it enters the conversations. People are talking about it, which helps grow the event, and like stuff like that has invariably helped national level events over the last few years. I hate it now, but the like little promo video we did for Junior Nats definitely got a lot of buzz going for that particular flight. Maybe the most buzz for like a 1v1 junior 83 kilo class ever. Do you know what I mean?
That touches on a topic.
Okay, let's go.
How do you feel about head-to-heads, trash talking, those kind of things in powerlifting in general? A broad one. Just explore it. I want to hear your thoughts.
I think there's a place for it, but I think it should be its own place. So, like, kind of like how it is right now. You know, you've got the IPF, which I'm personally, for the most part, all invested in for my own like competitive aspirations. There's one or two. Like I've done a series comp, and I'm doing another one this year. That's public now. But my own like real like aspirations are in the IPF. Like I obviously want to do what you both have done. Have been doing for combined like 15 years or something stupid.
Hell yeah,
wear the era singlet. But I think right now we're in a cool spot where like you've got the IPF, and it's not that. It's not the 1v1 thing. Even when like there is battles, it's still not that pro wrestling-esque situation.
Right.
But I think there should be a place for it. You know what I mean? I think the series is filling that market so well, like, and evidenced by its growth, like the way it's growing, and the way they're like structuring the growth. I think it's super, super impressive. Especially with like, you know, when you know who's involved. Like Jay's never run a thing like that before, so he has no idea his shots in the dark, but he's doing, I think, great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he's taking the right steps to grow in the right way and filling a gap in the market that does exist. It's like you've got there is pro wrestling fans who also do powerlifting, and that is what it is. You know what I mean? So I think there's a place for it.
Interesting.
Is there a place for a less dramatic version in the IPF? I think I would love to see videos prior to Worlds, Euros, national level competitions where it just gets you immersed in the competition before it happens.
Yeah.
Because I know every time I'm watching, and we're heavily involved in powerlifting, I still go, oh, they're closer than I thought. Whereas I should have known that like weeks before, and then I would like be more likely to watch flights that I'm not automatically watching.
Yeah, like the 83s at Worlds, a spectacular moment. I actually, because of the way the Irish team worked out last year, or this year rather, I didn't have to fly out for the full thing, so I missed the 83s. But I was actually driving to the airport while the 83s were on, and I was
Turn back.
straight up, man, had my phone set up, and I was like driving the back road, the West Cork, nearly crashing just to see that pull by Journs.
So Adam Phillips text and drives is what we're
Hell
casting
yeah.
in this podcast.
For that, hell yeah, I'd do it again, man. But imagine you don't know what's going on, and then you see Journs do his crazy whatever he did and pull 350, and you're like,
Wait, it's good.
You know what I mean?
In fairness, just because we're talking about that specific instance, I've chatted with people who don't know shit about powerlifting, who've been like, oh, I saw the video of the guy who did the thing and he hit
So
a big
after the
lift.
fact, for sure, because then it's like, okay, that was cool
you
for
get
some
it.
reason, and then you get, but it's like,
In the moment.
yeah, if you had like a resource that really gave the history, you know what I mean? It's like you can give so much now. Like we've been in this new era of powerlifting now for like coming on 10 years. So you've got Russ, who showed up after the Hack Gibbs era, and Russ was the next guy, and then he gets beat by this dude who's just came out of nowhere, and he's like a slightly older guy as well. Like that's a crazy story, and if you kind of have to tell it as a 1v1, because it was in the end a 1v1. So yeah, what do you think?
I don't know. I know for myself, anytime I've seen the trash talking stuff in powerlifting, I don't like it, man. I don't know. For whatever reason, it doesn't resonate with me. Now, that being said, I'm sure other people do like it, and that's something that I had to kind of, I was going to say accept. It wasn't like a big thing to accept, but that was something that I realized is it may not be for me, but I'm sure there is plenty of other people who do enjoy that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It doesn't resonate super well with me, the trash talking stuff, because like we're just lifting weights in an aspect that's how I view it. Like it's not as though we're fighting each other and it's like I'm gonna beat your ass, like that kind of thing. What? It's I'm gonna I can if you want. Anyway, it's
again.
Oh, that's what we're doing here now. That's why I signed up. Anyway, it's like I'm gonna lift more weights than you can. No, I'm gonna lift more weights than you can. Like,
I'm here for that, man. Like I'm thinking like the water boys.
But then I've heard in some instances where like people do take it a step further, where it is as if they're gonna have a fight. It's like I'm gonna put you 6 feet under when I do my deadlift. Like just give over. For me, it doesn't.
Completely agree.
But again, maybe other people like. Maybe other people. I don't know.
Completely agree. I think like me and you've had that. We had that conversation like years ago. Like when it was like I suppose when the series was like first coming through, and it was like because I don't care. That's like this conversation is like purely like one of like from a high level overview. What do we think is like the best for the sport we all care about? Because like that trash talk video, I mean, I don't care. Yeah. I won't watch it. Yeah. Realistically, like I know what's going on. I know they're open powerlifting. Like you know what I mean. So it's not for me, but it's like, can we pull in someone? Yeah, like you know, and it's like it's the ecosystem that you're trying to feed. I mean, we all like exist in a way, even full time, off of that ecosystem. So it's like there's that cost benefit of like, how do we get people in without sacrificing the scene, the growth potential in the future? Yeah. Because definitely it would be unwise for the IPF to like look at like the series and be like, that's it. We need to have everyone doing walkouts. Yeah. And you know, it's like I don't think so, but I think there's definitely a nice middle ground where like a little like it is a head to head, so we acknowledge it's a head to head, but definitely don't be like I'm a spinning back kick you after that. Probably not going to happen.
To build on that, I think I wouldn't have as much of a problem watching it in international powerlifting if people were having a go with each other.
Yeah.
But in Irish powerlifting, when there was that instance, I don't think I liked it because the Irish powerlifting scene is small enough that the people who were going head to head were two of the best lifters in Ireland. Yeah. But they were trying to drag each other down. And I didn't like that there was...
I need to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And I need to hold my hands up. I've done this already on my podcast. The boys, so Callum and Adam didn't try and drag each other down at all. Yeah. That was completely manufactured.
I know.
By me.
That's fair. But that's what I mean is what came out of it was two of the best lifters. And obviously it's going to be polarizing. There's going to be people on one side and people on the other. But I just personally wouldn't like that two of the best people, there is a camp that think, oh, this person's bad. They have this flaw in them. Yeah. Or they're viewing the best that Ireland has to offer as, oh yeah, but he's shit, he never hits depth, or he is a bottler, he always misses his third deadlift, or stuff like that. I wouldn't like there to be an underlying sentiment with people where they're against other Irish lifters, even though it is dramatic and it draws people in.
I agree, and that's why we're definitely not going to do something like that again. Because even like personally, I would say like my personal brand, for lack of a better term, I would never associate with something like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's tough in Ireland because we do have the series, and we do have the Division 2 series lifters talking about RKOing each other. Like into a pint of Guinness after. So it's like, yeah, I mean, how does one balance that? I don't know. I think it probably isn't that deep, is it? Like, I
Never
did
is.
that. Huh?
Never.
Nah,
is.
never.
Not for Andrew.
Just shallow. Yeah, so like that video that we're discussing.
Yeah.
The Irish Junior National Championships 2024 83 kilo class promo
Yeah.
that I curated.
Yeah.
I won't do it again. You kind of had to try it to know.
Yeah. Oh, it did the job at the time.
I mean, it got like ton of views, like ton of interaction. Really got a lot of spotlight on the battle, and it went well for us.
Yeah, you won.
Yeah, but you know, you had to see it to know you didn't like it.
Yeah, fair.
You know, so I think you just kind of have to, like, this is a random thing to throw in, but I remember like I used to like play some music and try and do like songwriting and all that, and I loved Ed Sheeran in like 2013, and he had a
Give the guitar.
he had explained songwriting as like turning on a tap, you know, after like the water goes out.
Yeah.
You turn on the tap and it's just shit.
Yeah.
Just brown water. You wait 10 minutes and it's like clear water.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the similar thing here. You kind of just have to turn
Yeah.
on the tap and see what
I
see,
like
see
that.
when the clear water flows.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
keep
good.
that analogy in my brain.
I know you like
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, right, that's staying in there,
And
brother.
what ends up happening though is like on social media, the way we talk is like we just need to be posting, and after a while you'll land on stuff that you like to post and that does well. But what happens is you turn on the tap, everything's brown, and then you're fed up and you turn it back off. And then after a few months you turn it back on again, everything's still brown. So you're better off just sticking to it and sticking through the shit.
Let it flow for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I heard. Oh, I don't even know if I should bother trying to retell the analogy because I don't remember it fully. But I heard a story that is on that vein of just post and you'll see what does well, and then you'll be able to hone that in and improve it more and more. So sometimes it's coming out brown, sometimes it's clear, and then the more you do it, it's like imagining there's a game where you can either get like a tick or an X, but every time you get a tick, it doubles the chance of you getting a tick the next time. So if you play the game 10 times and you get 9 X's and 1 tick, when you start to play that again, you've doubled your chance of getting a tick the next time. So then you get whatever, 2 ticks and 8 X's. And then you do it the next time and you're getting 4 ticks and whatever. And the more you do it, the more you're able to hone in on what is working, and it increases the odds that you'll be able to improve on it for the next time. Your chances of success are increased the more that you do it, and that is a good way of thinking. It's been helpful for me anyway to continue through those times where you're getting fail after fail after fail after fail. Just keep playing the game, and eventually you'll start to see that improvement.
Yeah, I like that. It's tough though, because you could think of someone who's been doing that.
Who, Adam?
No, someone comes to mind for everyone.
Outside of powerlifting, I was straight
keeps
to like
failing, man.
YouTube, like old school YouTube, because I like big video game player. So in like 2009, when like video game YouTube really hit with Modern Warfare 2, I was there, and like I know of people who've been doing that since then, and still aren't there. You know, it's like that's tough.
That is.
Because
That's fair.
when you were talking, my mind was going from like, right, we were talking about like it in this kind of grand overview of like what direction should powerlifting go, and that analogy is for like the individual, similar to like the turn on the fucking tap analogy. But like creating content yourself, it's hard. It's a hard problem, because like that advice is great if you are a certain person, and then if you're just like a dude who just like got into powerlifting last week, and you want to, you know, it's like
Fair.
Because like for me,
Yeah.
because I was trying to apply it to me immediately, obviously, selfish.
That's what we all do, brother.
Yeah. For me, it's like I'm 10 years in to powerlifting, and pretty. I'm that guy that you were talking about in the last episode. The guy who does one comp and then wants to be the coach. That's me, because I've been coaching for nearly as long as I've been competing. It's like I only now feel kind of ready to. I now feel like I have something to say.
There's so much interest in here, and there's an idea in here that I've wanted to express on the podcast for a while, so I'm just going to latch on, and it might not even run off properly. But it's the idea that when conveying information, 90% of it is who the person is rather than the information that they're actually conveying. And the way that I heard this explained was kind of like if Jeff Bezos is on the toilet and he's tweeting like, haha, I'm taking a shit. Millions of people are gonna be looking at that tweet and liking that tweet and trying to figure it out, because it's Jeff Bezos, this multi-billionaire. If I tweet, haha, I'm on the toilet taking a shit, people are looking at me going, this guy is off his rocker. He's nuts. Conversely, like there's so many times where I've heard information conveyed to me where it didn't resonate, but depending on the source of the information, if it was someone that I looked up to or admired for whatever reason, it would land, even though it's the exact same information that is being delivered. It was the vessel through which it was coming from. And then I heard this whole idea of like 90% of information being conveyed is just who the person is and what they've done, rather than what they're actually saying. So if you do want to have some like weight to the things you're saying, just achieve some shit. That was kind of the, like, put the eggs in that basket of building up your credibility, and then what you say will carry weight. So that was just a general idea. But I would say for you, but you've been around for donkey's years, you've coached on the international team, like you do have weight to what you say.
Have some eggs.
For all of those reasons. You've built up that credibility over all the years that you've been coaching.
Got eggs.
So I'd say, yeah, you do have eggs.
Yeah. I
For
appreciate it. Thank you. Very nice of you. It's at that point now where I kind of see that, you know, and like, there's more going on than like just like I have something to say. You have to have a desire to say it.
Yeah.
And why would you have a desire to say it? Well, there has to be some motivator.
Yeah.
So for me, obviously, the motivator is like, I want to do this forever. So to do this forever, you know, there's like a certain point where, you know, you reach your limit in your market cap, whatever. So for me, that's like within Ireland. So it's trying to, as I've put it to you, like achieve escape velocity, which is really hard to do. It's very, very difficult to do that. And obviously branch off into just outside of just this small niche community within a niche, you know, area of fitness within a niche type. You know, there's so many different things. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. I had a thought and it's gone on that. But what your analogy quickly again? What was the analogy?
The one that I just
there. Like
basically, it's about like who the person is rather than the information they're actually saying.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, like, okay, I actually haven't talked about this before. I had done a bunch of competitions, competed internationally, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try my hand at this coaching thing. And I posted, I'm going to start coaching. DM me. Taking people on. Zero interest at all.
Do it again. Again.
Oh,
zero interest.
just rewind.
Zero.
Some story's going to be that unreal.
Nada. But there was nothing. There was no one who wanted to sign up. And I was like, what? But I like have done a couple competitions. I'm kind of strong. And then I was like, okay, well, I need to convey myself as an authority somewhat, like in this field, that I know what I'm doing coaching wise and I can make other people strong. So then I went on this big mission, essentially. I was posting on TikTok like 3 times a day for probably like 6 to 9 months. I think I got up to like 30-something thousand followers. Posted again, I'm taking on clients, and I think I had maybe 80 applications. So it was literally, I had the same information in my brain. I had the same information that I was conveying, but I just went on this period of time where I was amassing enough of a following, or kind of creating myself as enough of an authority. People see you have a K beside the amount of followers and you're thinking, although that shouldn't be like a status symbol or that you have achieved something, it does affect the way that people perceive you.
It maybe should too.
Sure.
It maybe should.
Maybe because it shows that enough other people are interested in
It's like people will slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, good people will have 400 followers, but you know, for the most part, it's like BMI.
Yeah.
It's like people hate BMI. It's like, yeah, but when you apply it to the world's population, it's
pretty good.
Probably
it's
works
high,
like,
you know, it's high.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I remember what I was thinking, and it kind of contradicts what you're saying.
Go for it.
Kinda. So, I'm often asked like for advice for coaches, kind of like the primary question I get asked, just because I've been doing it for ages, primarily. And my biggest piece of advice for most new coaches is just coach. Simply. Get your friends, coach them for free. Like I did that for 2 years at the start. Like just maybe built up like 20 lifters. He was one of them. And like didn't take any money. And then I was like, I got a PT cert or something because at the time I felt I needed something. That's all bollocks. Don't do that.
I second that.
Literally. No one has insurance anyway.
I second that.
Yep. Yep. So, yeah, I was coaching. That's the primary thing. So I was seeing what was working, what wasn't working. And so lately, because then obviously in the last like 5 years, everyone wants to be a coach. It's like kind of like YouTuber. You know what I mean? Remember when everyone wanted to be a YouTuber? It's like, no, I want to be an online PT or an online powerlifting coach or whatever. You know what I mean? And so people will start doing the same thing, which is they'll start making content. And it's like, I think you're putting the cart before the horse there a little bit. You know what I mean?
Does this come back to if you haven't achieved anything yet? It's the vessel through which the information is coming through.
100%. And it's like you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
You're putting so much time and energy into this thing, and you're probably getting a lot of frustration because like, my content's not. But like, dude, you're not there. Like, you have to build it. You have to build it, and you have to like make all the mistakes, because that's what it is. Like, I've been coaching since I wasn't even 18. Coaching, you know what I mean? I think I was 17 when I first started coaching, and maybe 16, and like, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So I've said and done the stupidest shit, but it's only because I've said and done the stupidest shit that I can be where I am now at this point, and like look back, you know, and just be capable of like auditing a lot of that stuff, and now be at the point where I'm like, okay, maybe it's time to start making content. I think that's the extreme, though. I think coach for a year or two and then fine, make your content or whatever. But that would be the biggest piece of advice. So it's like finding. It's not necessarily contradicting you, because like, it's like we say, it's underpinned by, you have to have. It has to be coming from the right person to hit. Yeah. We both agree on that. Yeah. It's like finding that avenue whereby you're not just making like how to do a squat tutorials when you've like not even squatted.
Another thing, I had this conversation somewhat recently, and it's not, the guy isn't a coach, but he was asking like, how do I get into content creation and whatnot? Something that I think is really valuable is for me, I would say, not trying to convey information as this is the right or wrong thing to do. Simply posing stuff as this is my opinion, or this is what I have noticed, or this is what has worked for me. Because like, to an extent, people can't really disagree with this is my opinion, or this is something that I have done, or this is something that I've noticed. There is no, you don't run the risk of like, I don't know, getting egg in your face where you've said something that is like totally stupid, or in a year or two it comes out that is like completely wrong. Which can still happen. Like, that is okay. That's fine. That's the whole.
Even the best science communicators will do that. Yeah. They'll say, because like we understand, like, we don't know. Yeah. Those who know realize they know fuck off. You know what I mean? So yeah, for sure.
So posing it is, this is what I think, or this is what I've noticed. It gives you like a big safety net. You can keep pumping stuff out, and it's literally just your thoughts. And that's what people want to know anyway. They want to know your thoughts. They don't want you to say this like black and white information from ChatGPT. It's this is me. This is what I think. These are my philosophies and whatnot.
I saw this recently. Like a person started really pumping out content, just was saying crazy things. Like, strong person, like great lifter.
What did they say?
And who was it?
It would give it away. I'm not.
I know what
We're kidding. I don't know what it is.
Do you actually? Really?
Yeah, send it to him.
We'll talk off air. But it's like, had everything, ticked every box, like had the image too. You know what I mean? Like everything, like crazy genetics. Could have been super, super, super famous. Yeah. And I feel like they've cut their legs up from under themselves. You know what I mean?
For now.
Yeah, for now but like, I mean, that it'll resurface. You know what I mean? And it's
unless they change the strategy. If they change the strategy, they could.
Yeah, it's just it's tough to. It's tough to tie your personality in and who you are as a person, your character in with strategy for content creation. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you still have to be that person. You know what I mean? If you've made everyone think you're this person, in 10 years, there's still a pocket of people who think you're that person.
That's right. Unless you go so hard the other direction that you give such an avalanche of new content that it whitewashes the old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like it's just like, because I know this person. Like, I've had a few chats and they're not like that. Yeah. So it's like, dude, what? Oh, damn it. Why don't you just be you? Why don't you just be yourself? You know what
That's
I mean?
the easiest thing as well, because then you don't have to have a persona or
It
or a
is, but it's
shtick, like-
sometimes it's easier to have a character to hide behind.
because you're not as vulnerable.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, but if you can be vulnerable, that's where the juice is,
That's-
brother. That's what people love.
It's
Yeah.
sexy.
Yeah, everyone loves it. Man, that's one of the biggest. Jesus crazy. Everyone wants the YouTube to see what you just did. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, like that was one of the biggest things for me, and that's why I like these kind of podcasts or stuff like Modern Wisdom. When people are like talking about situations, or in particular, opening up and being vulnerable about, I have this problem or this anxiety or this thing that I'm going through, and it's like, oh shit, that's someone who's really successful, who I admire, and is like doing things that I want to do, experiencing the same thing as me. Oh my god! And then you resonate so much more with the person. So it's like that's where the juice is, vulnerability.
This comes back to the whole idea of pre-nationals, pre-competition videos is investing in the people, because people sell long term. Like sure, numbers are cool and lifts are cool, but really you follow people because you just kind of latch onto something about them or everything about them or whatever. But then for a few years, the people that became really popular on social media were the people who didn't adopt a safety net, weren't suggesting this is my opinion. They were saying absolutes and extremes. And
there's also the fact that you can't control any of what works and what hits. It's an algorithm, and the algorithm often gets painted out as like an ephemeral, like thing that's often, it's almost like in the heavens, you know what I mean? No, like dudes behind desks control that, and they pick like the shit that works, and it is that
It's
content.
polarizing stuff.
Yeah,
it makes you riled up. It makes you.
Yeah, man, I
fucking ordering those shorts, those booty shorts I told you I was going to order them.
Yeah.
do you want them?
That rocks me, man. I don't know.
They're going to rock you with
I
them
was
on as
picturing you
well.
in booty shorts. I didn't know what to do there.
Man, him in booty shorts, kill Tony. Did you see it?
Oh, no. I'm going to have to look that up. What were we talking about? We were on something golden.
Algorithm,
Oh, yeah.
algorithms
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. And it's conversations like this always end in like a super complex place because there's so much shit like this that influence it. But at the end of the day, like your advice is good advice. So just continue to pump it out. And oh, I did it, man! I
Hell
said
yeah,
it. I knew what I
brother.
knew.
I'll keep doing that.
Continue to make content.
Yeah.
And yeah, just try and be you.
Yeah.
Coach people if you want to coach.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do
What do you mean?
with content?
Keep
You
pumping
know
it
Adam's
out.
Instagram is like derelict.
It is pretty bad. It is
You
pretty
get the
bad.
odd story reshare. That's it.
I honestly only post stories because it's like, yeah, I should probably let people know I'm still doing it.
Still kicking.
My highlights are so funny as well. There's the lowest effort shit. It's like training and then informational bits.
So how's that going to change?
Oh, bro, I feel like this is like getting like intervention-y here.
We're all friends here.
Yeah, we're just asking questions. Hard-hitting, probing questions. You're getting probed, brother. One way or another.
Yep. So it's going to change in that I want to start making content. We had a great conversation about a month ago on like what that will look like, because it's important, I suppose, to kind of have a voice, like a message. You know what I mean? Have like it's like such a saturated market as well. You know what I mean? That you kind of have to find what you're gonna do.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I say this as someone who hasn't done what you're pumped it out.
Can I interject? And it's not to disagree with you. I think the barrier to entry is so low because so many people are scared to put their voice out there.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
And the reason I think you're probably right is because, especially now, like you were saying about your when you first like advertised your coaching, you definitely had more Instagram followers than I, and you certainly had way more competition success than I. When I first published that I was coaching, like I just like coined the name Odyssey. It was such a cool time, such a fun experience. I put out a similar Instagram story, loads of clicks. It was just that I was before.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was before and I did the exact same thing, and it was at that time where there was an appetite for it and not as much supply. So you're right, I think, that like, yeah, you do just have to make content. But you have to, I don't know, I don't want to make shit content, I think is the thing.
Sometimes you got to turn the tap on,
Oh,
brother.
God damn it, you're using
Yeah!
it against me,
Come on now, I turned his Ed Sheeran against him.
Yeah. For sure. Now, you're right. I have in mind after our chat.
You will be turning on the tap with that.
Yeah.
You know, like you narrowed it down. You gave yourself parameters, and now it's time to turn on the tap.
Yeah.
And shit will come of it.
I mean, to the point where like I've been carrying around a little notebook and writing in like little ideas and scripts almost, because that's something. It's one thing to have an idea.
Yeah.
It's another thing to like actually sit down and right, you know. So definitely want to, but you know, it's just got to do it.
Yeah, is this like Andrew with his, I'll try get my fitness pal going. Remember he said that to me, and I was like, that is the most flaky statement I've ever heard.
And my only response was, I just am dark.
Yeah, like it's that, and it's a difficult thing to do.
Do you know, as I was saying, like the barrier of entry, because people don't put themselves out there. I still get it. I still get like posting anxiety. I'll go to put a post, and I'll be like, fuck.
Yeah,
and then like throw it away and then not want to look at it. Like I still get that. It's difficult to put yourself out there for criticism, for judgment, for all of those things. But there's so much good on the other side. There's so much opportunity and potential.
It's like, especially when you just have no excuse, right? Yeah. Like, I am glad I didn't post when I was younger. You know, in hindsight, it's like good decision, bro. Yeah. Good decision. But again, if I want the thing I say I want, then this is what I have to do. It's that simple. And if I don't do it, then I'm not going to get.
What are the biggest barriers? What are the biggest obstacles?
It's obstacles I place in front of myself. Like, for example, I mean, we're recording this with your phone, and it's still good. Yeah. Like if you told me like, no, it's a great phone. It's actually the best phone. The best phone. It's the best phone for this setting. But like, those are some of the things.
It's still fun.
Yeah, those are some of the barriers I'll place in front of myself. Like not having the camera, not having the backdrop, not being lean, stuff like that.
Fair. Yeah. Very fair.
Not having facial hair to cover that I'm not lean.
That's the vulnerability side of things. That is so real. That is so real. That's something that I've experienced. That's something that we've all experienced. That is.
Yeah. So it's like, it's easy to put it back to next year. And then, man, it's like all of a sudden, like 10 years has happened? What the fuck? You know? So, yeah, those are the barriers. But it's like saying, you know, when someone comes up and they're like, the most obvious one is like, oh, I'd love to like be shredded. Love to have a six pack. It's like, do you though? But do you? Now you might be different because you're a freak. But do you?
Yeah.
Probably not. Like you probably want to be like it's funny because you talked about this last week about the like never lose your abs heuristic. Pretty good, right? But only recently a new study came out on body fat percentage and like what the like median most healthy body fat percentage is. For dudes, way higher than you think. 22%.
Hell yeah, I was probably like 35 for those people. But yeah, 22, yeah.
22%,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can sit at a high body fat percentage and it's not, you don't need to be super lean and
so yeah, but the point was like you probably don't want to have abs. You probably want to be healthy and look good, and it's probably not at 10% body fat. It's probably for you to enjoy your life and whatnot, it's probably up here. You know what I mean? It's the same thing when like I might say now like I want to be Instagram famous. You see what that looks like from the outside. You see Russ posting his day in the life of Russ.
Crying in the gym because I'm a beautiful bald black man.
Literally, wake up, eat, train, come home, watch fucking the NBA or whatever, and repeat. Yeah. God damn. And he's making a living doing that? What? But you obviously don't see everything else. Like, man, like that dude shoots like 4 different angles in the gym.
This is something that we experienced. We recorded a video with Listus, just like a skit. Something I've experienced a lot with any of the skits that I've recorded. But this one in particular, I think it was a 20-second video. I think it took 2 hours to record.
Yeah. 2 hours and the whole gym.
Yeah.
Only that I work there was probably accessible to do.
That's it, yeah. Having space, like having all these things. Like if you didn't have that, you know what then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that go into it
that you don't necessarily
you'll never see. You can't even imagine stuff like that, or stuff like negotiating for permission if you didn't have that, and figuring out what like even this podcast, you know, from start to now, so much has gone into it that people will never see. So many conversations, so many difficult decisions, a lot of money.
Scheduling and
Whereas on the other side of the screen,
bippity boop YouTube video.
yeah. And like dick jokes and like just
Ew.
the look. You know?
Ew.
Fuck. Oh, sorry.
Man, you're the one who said you love celebrations, so you can eat Snickers upside down.
I was just
Oh,
man. You had
Man, why did you have that preloaded?
Just in case he said
I
anything
literally did.
bad.
He literally did.
In the chamber, man. That was on the tip
Two
of your,
more.
That was on the tip of your tongue.
You
wasn't
wish.
it? Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
No, it's just having this guy on, for anyone who doesn't know, like Adam, like Andrew's like my brother of the same age, like my twin. Adam's like my older brother, so he's an asshole. Like at least where like we can like fight together. Adam's just like, you know, yeah, older brother strength, but it's mental.
Hit you
So
where
I'm
it hurts,
stronger.
like.
Yeah.
Hit you where it
and
hurts.
strength.
No, I'm stronger. It's fine.
I'm one lift. Yeah.
What's your biggest total?
Come on. Let's not go there. Actually, oh no, yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're about to say a
Wait,
rap
wait.
one as well. Really?
Yeah, it's actually only on one lift.
Yeah. But to be fair, it's by quite a margin. It is only on one lift.
That's crazy.
Wait, out of raps though, what have you hit?
Like
Man,
All right.
I haven't hit one
all
of
right.
those in so long. Just avoiding the question. Oh, like man.
All right, what? All right. Because I'm competing in 8 or 9 weeks.
Yeah, so am I.
We'll know then. That's true. That's
We'll
true.
know then, yeah.
That's true. I'll be a lighter body weight too, but whatever.
You will, you're shot.
I will. I will. Probably, right?
What do you weigh right now?
Like, I don't know, because
So anyway, the algorithm.
it's Christmas. All right.
I don't know. It's Christmas.
By my last weigh-in, which admittedly was in Middlesbrough like 3 weeks ago, was 100.2 and dropping fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm competing, so we'll know then. But what's your best squat double?
I don't remember the last time I opened power. What's your best touch and go bench? No, lift out.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
nah.
That's good.
2 lifts, yeah. Anyway,
Very good. What the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know. Bro.
It's something crazy. Anyway, so how did you guys get started working together?
We were young, man. Like I was really young. Like I hope you were
Groomed
under
him.
17 as well, were you?
Yeah, it was legal. It was legal.
Yeah, it was legal.
Just about.
It was like really young to the point that powerlifting was not on social media, and all it was the scary red plates. That's all it was, and weird red plates. And I must have made a second account because I was too embarrassed to post my main one, and we found each other.
That's really common. Can I just interject? You were going to say a good point, you.
No, not a good point. Just
Okay,
gonna
shit point.
out the name. 15 and Chubbs was the name
Wait,
of that account.
wait. And what were you posting on this account?
It wasn't a chore anyway.
Oh, that's crazy. No,
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's something really common that I see.
Yeah.
And if I had to give a piece of advice, I would say don't make a second account.
100%.
Because you're making a second account from ground zero.
Yeah.
At least if you have an account of like people who already follow you in your personal, post on that. In
100%.
my opinion, that would be
Yeah.
advice to anyone who's considering posting lifting. I know it's a little bit awkward. And, oh my God, my friends from school and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But posting a second account is just going to be, you're starting from such a lower.
At my
Oh,
little
man.
brother. At my little brother.
The coolest thing is not trying to be cool.
Yeah, but
Be some
sorry,
barbell,
I
man.
need to take
Yeah.
this moment.
Yeah.
Jack, post your fucking training.
Yeah.
All right.
Do it on your main account
super
and
strong.
make it public.
He's a kid. though.
Take it
He's-
off private.
Man, the kids these days, they have loads of followers and no posts.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so
Yeah, no
weird.
What are you
posts,
doing?
man.
It is weird.
Man, I used to be slapping with post left, right. and center.
Fact.
15 and chub. Brother, you know what it is, man.
Why'd you follow it?
Well, actually, someone else followed it.
Okay.
And they sent it into the group chat.
Literally.
Oh,
Literally.
So yeah,
Crazy.
15 though. Like when you actually frame that,
Yeah.
15. I was posting, and I think I benched 90 for 2, and the world blew up. So we got talking,
Yeah.
started coaching, and
So did you
persisted
DM
through
him?
it all.
Or, something?
Um,
Or did you DM him?
no, we actually met through someone else initially, and then maybe by the end of that year,
Yeah.
you and I were working together.
Yeah.
That would have been 2017,
Crazy.
Yeah.
which is crazy because it doesn't sound like that long ago.
Man,
but
we've
it
been
came
in this thing for a while.
while,
It's crazy.
man. a while.
Mm.
Like there's some people I'm still working with from 2016, and one who from 2015, but they're just
Yeah.
can't, but they would be. Yeah, long ass time. But yeah, so from the end of 2017, and you wanted me to coach you.
Yeah.
So I coached you, and here
Yeah.
we are.
What was he like in the beginning?
Andrew, it's a great question, because part of it is like, what was I like in the beginning, and so I can't really
Explore.
Yeah, he was just great, just ridiculously strong. You remember? Everyone talked about you. You were just the golden boy of Irish powerlifting at the time, and yeah, just fucking game changing. Actually, the first young fella to like actually really do the thing and commit and dedicate like a professional athlete. Because that's one thing that's strange of powerlifting. Like every like middling powerlifter and above, we all train like professional athletes. More, you know what I mean?
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
How bad do you want it?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, no, just so great. And I think at the time, I was also like, I think now, if I had to coach 15-year-old you now, I kind of like, God, this guy talks a lot.
Yeah.
But at the time, that's kind of where I was too. So it was like, I got to like engage and sharpen my tools and oh, fuck.
You said it.
Yeah.
And I was 15.
And he was 15.
I wouldn't even put 2 and 2 together on that one. That's
I
great.
was looking at you. I could see the
you could
face.
see it.
Honestly, I was going to let that go. Until it's a nice conversation.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Like Waka.
But like we would have like super in-depth conversations about things that are now like totally taken for granted in like the training process, and it was definitely a lot of like difficult conversations, and it was definitely
In what sense?
just that they took a lot of time I wouldn't have,
thought.
a lot of thought, a lot of time, but time primarily, time I would not have now.
Is this like there's an issue presenting itself, digging into it, or is
Maybe
it just
like
about
trying to reach a common ground of understanding on a topic so that we can both agree.
Yeah, and like it was usually trying to understand topics that inherently are very, very difficult to understand, or it was super formative for me as a coach, because it would, from day one of coaching, I remember thinking like, everyone would say like, this is the most important thing. And I remember just being like, why? Do you know what I mean? You have to do it this way. Because remember where like RPE first came out, which is crazy thing to say. I'm so old, man. There was a time when RPE wasn't accepted in Ireland.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I was the weird one for using it. But like I remember when RPE first came out, and it was applied to like intensity. I remember thinking like, what about volume? We're here like acting like, yeah, auto regulation, woohoo, but then we're ignoring all the rest of the stuff. It's like, so that led me down a ton of a route of exploration of different methods and whatnot that have been super formative for my coaching career. But like having you and other lifters like you to actually apply these thinkings towards
troubleshoot a little bit.
Yeah, and like a lot of conversations, because like obviously I'm playing two roles in these conversations. I'm the coach, so like the coach, I would provide a satisfactory coaching response first and foremost, but then there's like the sub conversation that may be going on in my head, where even if I'm like at the end of the conversation, you feel like, right, we have certainty on this plan, I still am aware of the complete lack of certainty of outcome on nearly any plan, right? So no, you were just a great, like anyone listening to the podcast can see, you're super thoughtful, and that's just been the case from day one. So yeah, that's what it was like to coach a 15 in chubs.
It was probably, with all that like thoughtfulness and neuroticism, both positive and negative leaning. It's too loud to even do that with. It's so distracting. It was like that, probably a good athlete to have in the beginner stages of being a coach.
Yeah.
Because I was helping you troubleshoot, because I was so communicative.
Yeah.
And talked so much and discussed so much, and you probably saw so many sides of an athlete, as opposed to having, say, 10 of your first athletes be super quiet and you're kind of getting minimal to no feedback. whereas you were getting as much feedback as you could possibly want, plus all the stuff you didn't want as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just persisted.
I was gonna say, how has it progressed since then?
See, from then, and I recognize it now, is I find the concept of like role models in psychology very interesting, where there's always someone modeling something in our life. Like we're picking things up from other people, and having a role model in my eyes is having someone like close to you that can hopefully is acting in a way that is healthy for you to pick up their habits, and almost all the minutiae that they express helps form your cognitions as you're growing up throughout your life, but especially as you're growing up through those sensitive periods. And so, like, I just wish there was a way to guarantee that my kids, when I'm older, could have an adult, because I had the perfect family situation, perfect all of those things, but there's something completely out of a parent's control, which is like maybe their siblings could act as this, or hopefully they get friends and peers their age, but there's something invaluable to what Adam acted as, where he wasn't in my family and he wasn't in my home and he wasn't my own age. So he was above me I was looking up to him, and what he said held more weight than people your own age, and then people in your family. Because even though you trust your family, they're still just, oh, it's just my mom, of course you'd say that. But there was someone removed. So everything he was giving me was purely altruistic. Like there was no need for him to do it. And he knew more than me. So the only reason he was doing it was with my best interests at heart. And thankfully Adam's in a position where I don't think it was a vice for anything else either. So it was purely pro-social towards me. And I don't know how to replicate that in my own kid, but I think he did so much for me growing up that your family and your friends can't do. So
That was special.
yeah.
That was nice.
And he also coached me as well. Yeah. It was cool to have a medium through which, maybe that's it, maybe the medium that brings people together, communities and typically sports and hobbies. Maybe that's where role models are found, but yeah.
I think so. It's funny because like the prevailing thought is like, holy shit, like it's like it's so random, you know what I mean? It's completely random that like that is how I was perceived, you know what I mean? It's even like because, you know, like my own like childhood and growing up, I had no role model, or like I had no father figure really as such, and so I don't even know, you know what I mean? I don't know how to parse out that that's your perception, you know what I mean? It's other than the fact that I did truly just want the best for you. It's just it's pure luck, you know what I mean? Because I can't even point to like, because I think the innate traits that you respect and admire are like the maybe like inquisitiveness. That might be the main one, because that leads to like these more thoughtful discussions, and more thoughtful discussions lead to generally more thoughtful outcomes. And we've always kind of melded, I suppose, in terms of like what we consider to be a good thought or a good outcome. But yeah, no, it means a lot. I don't know what where else to go. I appreciate you.
That was nice. That was really nice to listen to.
This has, we can move on from it now, but this has made me remember one conversation where we were both still fairly young. It must have been years ago, but it's still, there's all these like standout memories, like flashpoint memories that for some reason your brain paints them and like really engraves them, whereas like everything else around that 6-month period, I've no idea. I couldn't string together if I was to try to write it down, but for some reason your brain latches onto these, and they obviously have like kind of emotional valence or relevance for in some regard, or semantic relevance in some capacity. But this one was like the first time Adam and I explicitly recognized that we were fighting, and at the time it was very influential for me, and is actually timely now because I'm just starting a book, Crucial Conversations, as recommended by Andrew, and it was probably our first crucial conversation, maybe not fully, but there was like, you know, stakes, emotional stakes for both of us. It was a conversation with someone very close to you. We were disagreeing about something, or one of us was hurt, and so the outcome mattered, and we must have texted for like, you know, an hour or two, and we both, at the end of it, both text saying, wow, that was a really good fight. Like that was the first time we've like fought, where like there's disagreements and there's discussions, and then there's fighting, which I think is like emotionally fueled disagreement, where you probably start or find yourself at one point out of the bounds of logic, maybe, where you're being controlled by the irrational emotions. I think it was that I was very frustrated in my training at the time. Again, training and powerlifting is like the perfect medium for life, and I find myself talking to younger guys. Jesus, I find myself talking to younger lifters.
I wouldn't have even got it. I wouldn't have even. It wouldn't have registered. It wouldn't have registered.
Lads in the gym, Doug in particular, right? I was talking to him about all these things that I've learned, and powerlifting is such a perfect medium and a representation of life as a whole and everything. But bringing that back, I was frustrated about training not going my way for X amount of reasons or whatever it was at the time, and was basically inferring by the way I was talking that Adam was like overlooking that and or making decisions about my training that weren't with my best interest at heart. And I think you snapped because you're like, man, like bar the time and effort you gave is like you're not assuming good faith in my behavior, which is like the first time I'd ever heard or understood this term. And you're basically trying to convey that not only was that so hurtful, but it didn't make sense at all because every decision Adam was making was with my best interest at heart. And though I knew that about him and our relationship, it's like I was overlooking that because I was egocentrically thinking of my training and how it worked. It was such an interesting experience. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember where I was.
Really?
Yeah.
We texted for ages, and it was my first time having a fight with someone, but both of us acknowledging that we're fighting and trying to merge the camps together. And from then on, the idea of when you're arguing with someone, trying to, if the goal is to be on the same team, be on the same team. So even if they are pissing you off, it's like I can let go of that now. It's almost like I can pin it back to that moment where that was where I first realized that I'd rather be on the same team and that be the goal than whatever we're talking about. And it always yields good outcomes with people you're...
It's not you against each other.
It's you against the problem.
It's you guys against the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so much stronger when you team up, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
One that comes to mind as well is the golden bridge. Building that golden bridge between your perception and the other person's. It's like meeting on the bridge. Oh, I forget the name of the guy, but there's this black dude who I know when you say little boy, he doesn't laugh. I say black dude. He's God. Man.
It's just like I've never started with an author going like black and white author.
Where are we going with this?
It's important that he's black.
Okay.
I'll get there. It's where I
land the plane. Right now we're in turbulence. The plane is all over the place. We gotta land this plane, brother.
I think his name is like Darnell Williams or something. Why are you laughing, bro? All right. So
why are you telling the story this way?
Oh, it'll come around. So he met with members of the KKK. Okay, and he tried. That's the most difficult thing you can imagine doing is meeting in the middle of that, man.
Because that isn't the middle at all.
He turned them.
He turned the KKK. I've actually heard of this.
I heard he was on Rogan.
Yeah,
he turned them. He turned KKK members to see their faults, but he could only do that crazy thing by stepping into their realm of perception, which is wild.
That's insane.
Crucial conversations, motivational interviewing. Oh, we're touching on some.
So building that golden bridge.
I still couldn't imagine being faced with that situation and thinking crucial conversation.
No, it's ridiculous.
Oh man, wait till you finish the book, then you.
Okay.
But to kind of applying that analogy to like our entire relationship, because it goes beyond coach athlete. We're just best friends, realistically. Like at the start, we were building that golden bridge, like brick by brick. You know what I mean? Like slow, like walking to the quarry 40 kilometers away and bringing this, and not like the Egyptians where it's cool. We've got a brick and inch quarry. One in the middle. What?
The aliens, they've got the purpose, no?
Yeah. Whereas, like now, you as a coach, as well as I as a coach, have become adept at building that bridge. You know what I mean? Where it's like, bro, we've got like a crane that comes places that we can walk all the way straight out to the middle. It doesn't collapse. You know what I mean? And it's only because of all of the things that you're talking about that's even possible.
Damn, that was nice. That was nice to hear you get your flowers, so to speak.
Thank you.
Well, man, it's an American saying. Don't you hear all
It is. It's a real saying.
Yeah.
I made it awkward.
But yeah, that like it's as you were explaining the situation and the relationship, I could think of people from myself who played that almost same role, albeit not my coaches, but people in the gym, older than me, for whatever reason, opinion carries more weight. In particular, I'm thinking of Adam Keane, who had a podcast himself. He'd competed internationally. He took me when I was like 16 years old, took me under his wing, and even like to this day, I'd say he's been one of the more influential people in my whole powerlifting career. He doesn't even done powerlifting in years. Probably like 4 years since he's been out of powerlifting, but to this day, I would credit him as one of the most influential people.
Actually, now that you say that, it's made me analyze that time in my life as well, like a similar time period, and definitely there was, like, I mean, Ray Minahan from Bantry. He opened this gym that made no sense to open in West Cork, because he had a master's in economics, just because he just wanted to do the thing and follow his dream, and like he was just huge, and a lot of the way I would think about things definitely come from Ray, because I remember having like some crazy opinions. When you're 15 and 16, you watch the wrong videos.
Wait, what kind of videos?
I remember...
I was going to say something so crazy.
Let's go for it, come on.
Let's go.
No, it's gone. I was going to start off with, so it was a black guy.
His name was Darnell. Yeah. And having someone like that to I mean, because there's people who have like you say, like amazing relationships with their parents, but there's things you still won't share that you will share with maybe like the kind of archetypical like older brother. You know what I mean? And that's definitely what Ray was for me, and like you said, I was that for you. Yeah. Sounds like Adam was that for you.
It's a different vessel. It's the vessel of that field that you are aspiring to.
Yeah. Particularly in in a time where, particularly for you guys, coming up we're only you called me 30 on the podcast, bro. I'm 26. All right?
I think we called you 55.
Relax, bro. So I'm only a few years older than you guys, but that few years was a ridiculous amount of time in terms of like what you guys being 15 and 16 was like versus me. You know, like social media, you were fully aware of like what social media was, whereas I was still saying like went to the fun fair, it was great on Facebook. So yeah, it's like super important to have figure that outlet, I think.
It's very cool now, somewhat getting glimpses of it now that I'm a little bit more removed. I am the older guy. I'm talking to people who are 16, 17, 18 in the gym, all very friendly. Nothing sus, like this fella 15 and
I'm the older guy.
And you get glimpses of that. And it's like, it would be amazing to play that role that I have had for myself to someone else. And that's big inspiration for this.
Us doing the school talks was what made me realize that as well.
Yeah.
It's like we're going into these schools now, and we are, even though we still feel young. I'm convinced that you hit a certain age and you're just that age forever in your head. You never then expand. Anyway, we're going in. We are the guy representing. So
yeah, I think that's the ultimate goal. I think for myself anyway, to try play that role for others and like pass back just some of the goodwill that was given to me. Yeah. Try spread that positivity, that goodness. Yeah.
What about when you've completed that goal?
Will you ever? Because you can just do it to more people. That's what I think. Just try again with the podcast. Like it's just a bigger audience. I think that is one of the biggest goals for myself, to just try have as much of a positive impact on the widest amount of people that I can. And just continue to do that. And the amount of people that you can reach is kind of uncapped. Like it's
and that was the like reason for the question. You know, because like it's goes. There's a point where like logistically, you can't be that guy.
Man, this was the craziest shit I've ever experienced in my whole life. This year gone at World Championships and European Championships, I had people come up to me from like New Zealand, and Belgium and say, you're the reason that I started powerlifting. That is the craziest shit I've ever experienced in my whole life. I think about that like almost every day since. That is the craziest thing. And they'll talk about my TikTok back from when I was posting the 3 videos a day, and when I had the home gym and my dog in the home gym and stuff like this. And to think that there's some kid in New Zealand that saw my videos and goes, oh, I might get into powerlifting. That is, there's no better feeling in the whole world other than that. Like when I said that, I was like, you're taking the piss. Like, there's no way. That's not real. There's no shot in the world that that's true. That's the best feeling that I could ever have in the whole world, I think.
I could even argue, I've never really framed it like this because I'm so close to you and have been through those years. But I wonder, has there been as many people as you'd probably assume that have made a bigger impact internationally on people starting powerlifting than you? Because, but think about it, right? Think about it. How many Instagram followers does Russell have?
Million.
500k, I think.
Yeah.
500k.
But at that time, how many people were garnering like hundreds of thousands or millions of views on TikTok, powerlifting related?
Fair.
Probably no one. I don't think powerlifting had reached TikTok at that
That's the
time.
thing as well, is a lot of the content was like informative stuff about powerlifting. It was, these are the rules of powerlifting. These are like the...
Man, I would go as far as saying that you making
You're gonna make me
powerlifting
cry,
a TikTok
brother.
thing
You're gonna make
was
me cry,
pivotal
brother.
for powerlifting full stop, perhaps. And maybe you will never be able to frame it like that in your head, but maybe it is. Because I guarantee at the time there was no big powerlifter on TikTok making videos like you were. And TikTok was blown up at that time. It's not as big. It is huge now, but
it's
Instagram's
not
rivaled
in
it now.
terms of,
At the time, TikTok was
terms of
millions of views
pounds.
and you were getting them.
Well, here's the thing, right? Because it's like now, like when we're getting to the point where it's like you're talking to the millions. You know what I mean? You can't hear them say something stupid and be like, bruh, you know, call them a name, and then they never say that stupid thing again. You know, you can't be the role model that we all had in the one-to-one, the individual sense.
True.
You know, so it's how do you manage that? And the root of the question was like, why powerlifting? Why do we all agree that powerlifting is this good vessel for that? What is it about powerlifting for everyone?
I think it's just the one that we've fallen into. I imagine with a lot of others, like I hear the same with jiu-jitsu and stuff quite a lot.
I think there's more to it with powerlifting and maybe jiu-jitsu. I don't know. I think because powerlifting is so accessible.
Yeah.
Is it the most accessible? I think it might be. Like
running.
Man, it's more accessible than running.
Is it?
Yeah. Like, have you gone for a run lately?
No, he's looking coming for you here, brother.
I'll tell you this. Have you?
No.
No. It sucks. When is the last? How much did you weigh when you last went for a run?
Probably like
70 kilos. Yeah. And it probably wasn't great fun then either.
No.
No, it's ass now.
Super ass.
It's
man.
really ass. Us fucking
Yeah, through the
mammothing
airport,
through
man.
the airport, man.
Yeah. And so, like, yeah, let's say you're a 125 kilo dude who's never exercised before, running. No,
Yeah.
Good point.
Good
don't
point.
do that.
Very good point.
So, like, what is more accessible? That's
Great point.
really, really closely tied to before anything else, improving your physical health, improving long-term health outcomes. Man, powerlifting is so up there.
Yeah.
So that's at baseline. Like,
True.
that's a great reason to recommend it to people.
Yeah.
Man, it sounds crazy, but like you could recommend powerlifting to every age demographic, and it will be a safe and healthy thing to do because you're limited by what you can do.
And you can regress it all the way down to...
And
and progressive to...
but
infinity,
you
like
as the individual, let's say it's like a 75-year-old woman who's never trained before and like maybe has like osteoporosis. You don't have to regress anything because they present the way they present. They can do only what they can do, you know? So it's like, it's still they can still move. You know what I mean? That's the barrier to entry. And even then you can lie on your back and bench press, you know? Like, if you can function slightly, you can do powerlifting, which sounds mental to a lot of people. And they really push back against that. I can't think of another sport where that's the case. And then beyond that, like, there's other layers to it. Like, it's the reason that I landed on Odyssey Strength. Like, what is an Odyssey? If you go on our website, you'll see. But it's a long and arduous journey filled with lots of ups and downs. You know, and like, oh yeah,
It's life, baby.
that's life, right?
It's life, baby.
And like, does that describe your powerlifting journey? Does that describe your powerlifting journey? Kate behind the camera. Does that describe you? Yeah, it does. And like, you know,
Yeah.
that's like every almost, like, unless we had like a new beginner here, but like, you know, there's a lot of different experience levels here, and like we all agree it's the same. So there's a lot of learnings and things that, like, I'm a better person for powerlifting 100%. You know, I can apply that to life. You know, yeah, that's so when
I like that.
yeah. So when you were talking about being that role model, it's like when you're what's the word, putting that message out into the millions. I think having powerlifting as like this thing we can all come back to and relate to, it kind of it's the body of that role model figure.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I back that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the. No, I was going to make a bad analogy. Let's move past that. I was going to be like, it's the tip of the spear. It's like the frontier.
It's like the backbone, and you're the tip of the spear.
That's
you
right.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I'd love to be hit with that spear.
It'll hit your backbone.
As long as you're on the tip, brother.
Oh, crazy. So, tell me a little bit about your powerlifting journey from where you started. How's your Odyssey been? How's your journey with
let's
trials
go.
and tribulations?
So I started. Yeah, I got into it really, really young, and I am from Bantry in West Cork in Ireland. If you've met me, you know this because that's all I talk about. Barry Piggott, who I hope your audience know who he is.
I'd say a lot of people don't.
I'd say tons don't.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Barry Piggott might be like, there's people who've hit higher dots, but like in Irish powerlifting, Barry Piggott's probably like the goat.
Yeah.
He's the Ed Cohen of Irish powerlifting, you know.
Just a quick little anecdote. I remember first seeing him on Instagram, and it was a post where he had accidentally, so he loaded the bar for squats with his next intended weight, forgot, and then put an extra set of reps. So he's jumped from 170 to 270 on squat, squatted it, and it still moved fine. And I remember looking at the video and being like, what? 270 kilos?
That's not possible.
Yeah, and then I realized he's Irish, and I was like, people can't squat that. Wait, I squat 80. Wait, what does it mean 270? How is that possible? How do you do that by accident? What? And then that blew my mind, and that was my big intro to the world of powerlifting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. I mean, similarly, so we're from the same small town, you know, 3,000 to 5,000 population, and at the time I was all in on rugby and get super obsessed about things. So I had started going to the gym outside of that, and there was one particular day where I was like essentially sneaking into the rugby gym because I wanted to try and trap bar deadlift 100 kilos. And
Steroids.
oh man, oh man,
Everyone in West Cork. You hear about that? Adam Phillips.
Ridiculous. And I walk in, and Barry was there, and there was like a little whiteboard, and the gear in this gym, it's like from the 60s and 70s, and it's homemade, and like it's ridiculous. And I see on the whiteboard 200, and then like a ton of like tally points, and the dude was squatting 200 kilos for 3 reps, which I was like, what?
Crazy.
I didn't know that was humanly possible at the time. Genuinely thought, I thought 100 kilos was like, why would you ever need to lift more than 100 kilos? You know?
Those are the days.
Oh man. So I saw this jacked dude doing this, and I didn't even know about his bench press at this point. And I was like, holy shit, I want to do that once. Let me squat 200 kilos once ever, and I'm done. And I'm ready to because I was kind of on the way out of rugby, so it's like, this is the thing. So I went double down on that, and thankfully got to know Barry at the time, and he was willing to like come and have a few sessions, and maybe 18 months after that, he spotted me for my first 200 kilo squat, which is on my Instagram somewhere.
Yeah,
scroll
that's a core memory right there.
Yeah. That is a core memory. And my buddy Ben, who's one of my best friends from home, he fucked up the video. Yeah, so we only got the concentric. So it looks like I was doing like
that before.
yeah. Oh, bro, it was rough. It was actually, I think he took 2 videos.
So there's a video of
It was like the eccentric and then the concentric, and I didn't know how to
How to
put them
clip them
together
together.
at the time.
There was
but
no way to do it back
Yeah.
then.
I don't think there was. No,
No.
I remember Instagram just started letting you post videos
Oh, I remember
at that time.
Yeah,
It was
wow,
just
yeah.
pictures before that.
Yeah.
That's when powerlifting like took off.
Yeah.
So that was really the start.
So what was that, like 97, 98?
Yeah. That was 2014 was when I met him that first time, and then 2015 was when I squatted 200 for the first time. And yeah, like at the time he was running Smolov Junior on squat, bench, and deadlift. So I started running
Oh
Smolov
my
Junior on
God.
squat, bench, and deadlift.
Yeah.
Remember my squat when I jumped off and did Smolov Junior, because even at the time everyone was like, "Don't do it, like it's for advanced lifters only, and just do it on your bench."
Yeah.
And then Barry was achieving what he was achieving. I was like, I can do that. So did it, and my squat went from 120 to 200 in like 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh my
Steroids.
God.
Yeah. My bench went from 70 to 70. That was running Smolov Junior, man.
What?
It's ridiculous.
Man, you
I
are
felt
cursed.
so cheated.
You're cursed, Eddie.
Nah, it's going well lately.
Oh man, getting hyped up for that 70 after the 8 weeks of smoke.
Man, how can you run Small Love Junior and get zilch?
I know.
Oh,
I know.
geez.
And then on Dead's probably went from like 160 to like 220 in that time. So I was like, oh, I'm like the strongest.
Yeah.
I'm the best powerlifter in the world, man.
What did your program look like while you were running those three at the same time?
Oh, and also, it was
Same thing.
it was
but-
literally, man,
But-
comp squat, bench, deadlift 4 times a week,
How long were the sessions?
4 or 5 hours. Sometimes I would train twice a day.
Yeah.
Take it for 80 kilos on the squat. And
Take it for 70 kilo bench press.
So I decided to do my first competition in 2015, and this was during that. And so I heard the word peaking, but I didn't really know what it meant. And I remember talking to Barry, and Barry was kind of like, "No, I don't really believe in peaking." And I was like, "Yeah, seems like bullshit."
Yeah.
And then I watched a Greg Knuckles video,
Okay.
and I was like, "This dude knows his shit." So I started reading, or what I thought was reading his articles at the time, but I just didn't understand half of the words. So I was like, blah, 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 squat, blah, 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 Bulgarian method, blah, 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 good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing Smolov Junior and squat, bench, and deadlift, and Bulgarian method.
Bulgarian method?
How?
All right, so Bulgarian method, you do a max single every session on just squat. So I was doing Bulgarian method on squat, bench, and deadlift, and Smolov Junior on squat, bench, and deadlift. So I would do, let's say my day 4
God.
would have been 10 sets of 3 on squat, bench, and deadlift, then a single, so fatigue single before it was cool, on squat, bench, and deadlift. And then I competed. And yeah.
Oh my God. That's up there with one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I got hurt.
Yeah.
No
way.
I remember trying to do this. So I got up to those numbers,
Yeah.
right? I got up to like, my first comp I squatted 185, and then a few months later, or a few weeks later even, 200. And so I remember it was like 270, 220, and I tried to do all that again. And just, that was like, you hear about people talking about bashing their head off the brick wall. Man, they don't know what that means. You don't even know what you're talking about, because there's so many resources available now. Back then, I had read every single resource
Resource that was
available
available.
on the internet.
All 3 of them.
Oh man, like
One was Small Love Junior, one was Bulgarian method.
531.
Yeah.
But like
531's goated.
531 is goated. But man, I think right now people could do 531 and be fine. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
do really well. Versus a lot of the things that people get caught up with. Like, but yeah, there was like bodybuilding.com, T Nation,
Yeah.
a couple of. Do you ever hear of Volafile?
That's crazy. No.
Okay, Volafile was this file sharing thing that you had to get invited to, and I got invited.
15 and shove.
Oh yeah. And I got
I think I
invited.
saw that username on there.
It wasn't me.
Do you know what my username was on it? This is a piece of trivia.
Yeah, hit us with it.
Odysseus.
Oh.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
That is interesting.
And so, yeah, I was invited on that, and you just got like free books. So I just like read loads of stuff. That's when I first got picked up the scientific principles of Strength Training by Dr. Mike Isotel, still to this day a great resource. And yeah, so all that happened around the time where I got injured, got hurt. People were telling me, yeah, now look, you've done it. You've ruined your life.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you do the weightlifting.
Yeah. 18 and you have a sore back.
I remember that Adam Phillips now. He used to lift a lot, and that is gone now.
And it happened to be at the time where I was like, right, I'm not getting stronger anymore. I need to bulk.
So you're gonna say hop on?
I mean, at the time, I was way more open to that idea as well.
We talked to after one of the school things, a guy reached out. And bear in mind, the guy must be like 16 or so, and he's like, "Do you have any advice for bulking? Because I'm 65 kilos and I can't gain weight, so the only option is to hop on gear, and I don't want to do that yet." And I was like, "Oh my god! You're 16, 65 kilos, and you think your only option is to hop on gear." So I sent him a billion resources, and I was like, "Brother, please, I beg you, do not even consider that."
You know what's really good for that? Puberty.
For hopping.
Excellent resource for bulking.
Getting jacked.
Oh, like
Yeah.
you're on gear. What are you talking about, bro? I was saying this to my brother. He's 17. I was like, dude, you're on gear.
He replied to me like a month after that again. He was like, "Yeah, I'm up to 70 kilos now." I was like, about right.
Yeah, damn.
So like that in a way was me. I kind of always hovered around like 80 something from like when I reached my full height. So it was like 85 kilos or so. And I was like, nah, nothing's
Natty
working
potential
anymore.
here.
Yeah, I'm there. Nothing's working anymore. Gotta bulk. I remember again, Barry was like, well, I drink 3 liters of milk a day.
You were painting the toilet after that.
Growing up, I had psoriasis. So it's like, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like eczema.
Okay.
Which people know what eczema is, don't they? Yeah.
Skin.
Yeah, like a skin condition. It's like it presents as like excess skin, but in like big red spots. And when I was a small child, I was really sick, so I was on a lot of antibiotics and things, and I had psoriasis from head to toe for like a good chunk of my childhood. So like looked like I had leprosy. You know what I mean? Like people on the street asking my mom, "What's wrong? What's wrong with him?" And all that. And to be honest, though, like that sounds like a horrific experience. It actually wasn't. Like it wasn't that bad. Like no one was actually mean about that, which was great. But yeah, so anyway, 3 liters of milk and did that for a week. Psoriasis head to toe. And I was like 16. That sucked.
Yeah,
that was not fun.
Yeah.
So then I started doing the paleo diet.
How did that resolve itself? After that,
Started
just
doing-
stop the milk.
Stopped the milk, started doing the paleo diet, which was very popular at the time. You eat like a caveman, a Paleolithic person, essentially.
Liver King.
Yeah, I mean,
The
yeah.
Liver King of Bantry.
Yeah, pretty much. So did that. It was just like, yeah, you just eat, meat, fish, fruit, veg. That's it. Nothing else.
I'm sorry, that's the title of the podcast, The Liver King of Bantry.
And that cleared really quickly.
Okay.
So that was great.
Okay. So everyone should do paleo.
No. But definitely there was maybe the 3 liters of milk not being in my system probably more important than me doing paleo.
Then why was Barry not?
So did that, but anyway, found other means of bulking and got up to like over 105. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like.
How did the bench react?
Didn't.
75.
He didn't, man. I remember when
I think if I was 16 and gained 20 kilos, my bench went from 70 to 70. That's when the steroids come out.
Yeah. It didn't. Yeah, I remember when I first benched 100, I was like 109 kilos. So I was like, yes, I made it finally, and then the crushing realization of it's not my body weight. Oh, bro. I think I got a slingshot that session of bench test. Yeah, we out here.
And you're like sweating, putting this thing on. I got it.
We out here, yeah. And so, yeah, that was.
You hit it since without a slingshot.
No, I never got there.
That was good. That got me off guard.
Never got there.
Okay, can we now, with your coach's brain and all the experience that you have, look back? Why was that?
Why was what?
Why was your bench just fucking stuck in the mud?
So I was looking for the why. So at the time, it was like I had identified like I'm pretty strong on the squat. I'm pretty strong on the deadlift. I look at my bench. I'm like, if I could just bench like an average bench, man, IPF Worlds, I would have come third. You know, which like, you know, I still do. But so I was looking for the why, and that was the problem. I had no one to help me parse out what might be going on and say like, maybe just keep training. Versus like at the time was a criminal thing to do was program hop. Have you heard that term?
Oh
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you can infer,
exactly
but at the time, if you were a program hopper, man, you were worse than an overshooter.
Pervert,
You were worse than
Fucking dirty
man.
pervert.
Yeah, pervert.
Yeah,
It was the
man,
worst.
They're
Jesus.
talking about you in the supermarket. See that? Adam Phillips. He's a program hopper.
Man. So like at the time, you could name a program that was released by like a semi-famous lifter or just kind of person in the community from the periods of like 2015 to 2017. I tried them. I did every single one for 1 week at least.
It didn't work. After that week, I still was benching 70, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, so like I just had no idea how to navigate that frustration, and there was a crucial moment where I was like, I remember I just hated bench, and like, don't get me wrong, I had been benching for way longer than I've been squatting and deadlifting. I started benching when I was like 12. You know what I mean? So I hated it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is this not happening? And I can't remember exactly when, but I remember then being like, have you tried liking it? You tried doing that?
It. Yeah.
And then I tried liking it. And I remember...
I think, therefore I am.
Pretty much, bro. Pretty much. So, like, you were on the scene at this point, I think. Like, I started taking pride, for lack of a better term, in other aspects of my bench press that weren't the weight on the bar. Like, my setup, I got, like, the craziest setup at the time. I used to not be, like, at the time, I was like, I can't arch. Like, I couldn't, I had a shit arch. And so I put all my eggs in that basket and still had a shit bench.
It's all right, brother.
But I got, like, to a really, 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 really proficient setup. Like, you know, had, like, 20 different markers I was looking for during my setup. And naturally, because I was just, like, liking bench, my bench started to improve slowly and steadily. And it got up to a point where, like, you know, it was bad, but not as like glaringly like it isn't moving. Like for the last like 6 years now, it's been like nice and steadily improving. Yeah, which is great. So that's kind of what was happening. All I had to do was like bench. Yeah. Pretty much, you know.
10 by 10 curls and tricep extension.
And then that helped a lot.
That was another thing actually that I'll add for you is your preference for accessories was maybe different for a few years where what did you have access to and then what did you actually do?
Yeah, so I had access to, for a while, just dumbbells. And there was kettlebells, so I'm not doing shit with kettlebells. Get out of here.
Of course not.
Yeah. And...
Donkey kickback. Yeah, that's the joke, brother. That's the fucking...
So I just had barbells, and it's like, I don't know, it's a whingy thing to say, but accessories of barbells suck. If all I had now was barbells, I wouldn't do accessories again. It is what it is. I just definitely wouldn't. Yeah. You'd have like your motivated week and you do it.
Yeah, you do like the inverted rows and the like barbell curls and you're like, oh.
Just not doing it. And then we got dumbbells and like I started doing some accessories, but like I do a set of curls a week and triceps still sucked.
Yeah, triceps and dumbbells.
Possible, man.
Kick.
Yeah. And so it was only in like recent times, like the last like 3 years, when I got access to a cable machine. Perfect. Literally only in the last, since 2022, 2.5 years ago was when I first had consistent access to a cable machine. And that improved my training dramatically. It improved my bench press. My bench has improved quite a lot in the last few years as a result of just having that. So that definitely factored in, which is so funny because it was like, the whole thing of like Odyssey hate accessories. That was such a thing. It's like,
why did that even happen, man?
Well, there was
he only had access to barbells. He didn't know what else to program.
Yeah, literally. For a while, man. For a while, because like I have always valued like honesty and integrity behind like decision making, transparency as well. So there was quite a long time where when it came to accessories, my prescription was 2 to 4 upper body accessories. That's it. Because I don't fucking know.
Yeah, you didn't. You weren't Yeah, as well.
No,
versed
it's like
in
if you want to do
it,
accessories, cool, you know. But like at the time, I was like also under slightly different thinking that was kind of popular at the time, because I don't know if you guys remember when machines were not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there
do
was a
remember
while where machines were like, if you're using
Not
machines,
functional.
yeah, you're a loser.
Yeah.
You're gonna
So dumb.
yeah, so dumb,
So dumb.
so
That's
dumb.
the dumbest shit ever.
But I had
Yeah.
prescribed to that also,
Yeah.
subscribed to that rather, for a while, and so in my head I was trying to understand the whys behind that, and it was like the logic I had fallen on was like, okay, I am doing a squat, a bench press, and a deadlift. In powerlifting, I want my squat, my bench press, my deadlift to be a specific range of motion that I access every time. That's the goal. So within that specific range of motion that I'm accessing every time, I'm working a specific set of musculature. So if I only need that specific set of musculature, then surely the best thing I can do with my training resources is the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift. That was the logic I was operating with under the time. There wasn't a whole pile of evidence to suggest that that was true or wasn't true, but it seemed logical when it came to like the question of how do I utilize training resources.
Yeah.
Now I don't. Now I would have different, like, kind of a different take on it, where it's like, still, if you're limited in your training resources and you want to be a powerlifter, I'm going to have you squat, bench press, and deadlift. But if you have more to give, that's when I'm going to start giving, like, you know, different looks at different exercises for more reasons than just hypertrophy as well. For, like, you know, I hate the word injury prevention. It's like you can't prevent injuries; they're just going to happen. But like to make you more to bolster your readiness when it comes to
you're proficient in lots of ranges.
Yeah. I think it's probably
ranges.
pretty bad for your role as just a human being to only be able to squat,
function in this specific plane.
So yeah, that kind of covers the whole saga with accessories. So yeah, definitely adding in some tricep push downs.
And I know and again, I only realized that you thought I was joking about that recently.
10 by 10 arms.
Man, I would do 10 by 10 arms.
Crazy.
And I added like 15 keys to my bench in 8 weeks.
Yep.
Having not trained my arms for a number of years because I was told that you don't need them.
Excess fatigue, man.
Yeah, you
Trying to
should
get away
just
from
focus
your
on, like, your biceps they're not useful in powerlifting, you don't need them. So I went years without training them.
Yeah.
Stupid shit like that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because I suppose we're in a time now where that probably isn't going to happen again.
No,
you know,
I can't imagine.
No, like, it's like, because it was just when, like, knowledgeable communicators were coming through, you know, where, like, there was this guy, I forget his name, it was like Powerlifting to Win, I think.
I love that fella, isn't it?
Izzy,
yeah.
I love that fella too. But he would say super crazy shit with no evidence, you know, and state it as fact.
Hell yeah.
And I all the way subscribe to all the shit he was saying, all the way, you know what I mean? So, whereas now it's like there's enough people who know enough to check, and like
you don't get crazy shit.
Less crazy shit, but like the point was, it kind of, he would say stuff, and lots of other people, not just him, would say stuff that contradicted how things felt.
Yeah.
Like, if you've bench pressed or squatted, you know, when you squat, if you're carrying a little bit extra weight, that feels a hell of a lot better. It would be great if you were carrying more muscle weight and it's not fat weight, you know? So it's like hypertrophy, surely at the very, again, like I talk a lot about Occam's razor, which is the idea that, like, the simplest explanation is usually the best one, or it's, at least for me, the best place to start. So, like, more mass, probably
more good
because
more mass, more good.
It just feels good when you're doing the lifts, you know? So if we can do hypertrophy work to make that mass less detrimental to your health at baseline, hell yeah. So yeah, that was kind of the accessory saga, and like, did my first comp in 2015, did a couple more comps, and then in 2016 did a comp. It went terribly. And I didn't really I did a comp in 2017, but that was, I was handling you, actually. You were there. And I was competing and coaching like 6 lads, so I was just there for a laugh. I didn't really count that. And then 4 years passed before I did another comp.
No way.
Yeah,
I didn't know you had that much of a hiatus.
2019. So It was like the first comp was the start of 2016, and then it was the end of 2019. I did a comp.
Wow.
Yeah, and then annoyingly COVID happened.
Yeah.
But like, cause like 2019 was like the start of my like kind of consistent build approach to training that's brought me to kind of where I am now.
You have risen through it all, man.
Rising.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, I'm glad it's not just me.
Flip my joke.
You just have to look him dead in the eye when you're saying it too, and he crumbles.
Very good.
What a rise.
Yeah.
So
journey.
yeah, now I am where I am now, and I'm like, I suppose there was actually a something else that happened during it, where I still thought of myself as a coach first. I left my athletic career behind. I was coach first, and maybe that served its purpose because I built a fairly sizable kind of coaching business out of that, so I don't regret that at all. But I remember thinking, I really want to wear the Irish singlet, but I can't. It's too far out of reach. It's inaccessible.
I think, therefore, I am.
There you go. It's inaccessible, and so I'm gonna do it as a master. And not like
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
I just have to wait 17 years.
This is why we thought he was 38, man. Because he was right there.
It's crazy, but there is
Admirable.
logic in it, and I would do this sneaky thing where I would build logic into these points. You know what I mean?
As we do.
Yeah.
We tell smart stories to ourselves.
Yeah, justifications. And so it's like, well, I'm still going to be here. That's the thing. I am going to continue lifting.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But I remember I was at Euros in 22, and I was saying that. I was like, man, I'd love to do this. Like, I'd love to wear it. I said it to Alex Cremens, and he was like, the fuck are you talking about? And I was just like, just whatever way he said it was exactly what I needed to hear at that time. And I was like, I went away after that. I don't know if I kind of capitulated then and there, but I went away and I thought about it afterwards. And I was like, what are you talking about? Are you being stupid? Because like then I like audited a lot of the training I had done in the previous years where it was like, didn't do that set. Missed training that week. Your knee hurt. Didn't do anything for 3 weeks. So I was like, that's bollocks. This is bullshit. You're selling yourself short. You can do it sooner. So that was a pivotal moment, and you can see it. You can go on my open powerlifting and look, and from that moment on, my training just took us. I think not long after that, my training just exploded.
I was gonna say, like, that's been noticeable for my, like, I don't consume that much of what other people are doing. Definitely noticeable. You have hit like a stride as of maybe the last like 1 or 2 years, but like it's very noticeable. I remember like the 300 squat. I remember seeing that and I was like, that's my boy right there. That's my boy.
Love it.
Fucking 300 squat.
Love
Because
it.
I don't know, for whatever reason in my brain, that was like, oh my God, this man is cooking. He's doing something devious. He's doing devious work here now. And it was after we talked about 10 by 10 arms, I think. So
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's just I started just taking myself more seriously, and it's like, don't take yourself seriously, but there's a certain amount that where you do have to take yourself seriously, particularly if your goals hinge on it, and so
I think, therefore, I am.
yes, sir. And yeah, that's it's been tangible. I've had a couple of comps since where I did one comp where I wasn't supposed to be competing, and I'd pulled 280 the night before, and then I got accused on the day of planning this so much. I swear down, it did not plan it. People were like, well, why'd you have the singlet in the car?
No.
It's like, where'd you keep your singlet? I always have a singlet in the car.
That's class.
So I had bought a ticket for the comp, but I broke my hand like 12 weeks previously. So in my head I pulled out, but I never sent in the email. And
The phantom pullout.
I was waiting for you. There was a dialogue there. I was like, God, he didn't take that one. I'm impressed with him, man. Fair play. And got to the comp, morning session, great crack. a couple of lifters. Everyone did great. Good vibes in Phenom, which is not far from home.
Yeah.
And then the evening session rolled around. It's one of these unbelievably rare sessions where I had nothing to do. I had absolutely nothing to do. No lifters. No one was really there. There was no volunteering to do. I'd asked for a job. They couldn't get me one. I went upstairs and was just like moping because I was bored. And Cormac jokingly was like, well, you're still on the list. And then someone was like, you should do it. I was like,
maybe I will.
I could do it. And I toyed around with it for a small while. And I kind of was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And for some reason, when I had the thought of, nah, I'm not going to do it, Jack Thornton was definitely pushing me as well, and that helped. I was like, nah,
Gotta do
that's
it.
why I'm doing it. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I did it, and it was fucking awesome.
Go buy a ticket to win the lottery, brother.
One of my favorite comps to date. I just had a stormer PB on all three. Again, after pulling 280 the night before and not peaking at all. Peaky isn't real.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. And then after that was March, and then in June, my last comp, where you came to Germany with me to do a series comp in wraps and the deadlift bar, and that was just by far my best comp today. Everything, one of those Goldilocks days, like where just I said to you the day before when I was like water cutting, it's 24-hour weigh-in and it's a dot based comp, so I was like, right, I'll try this then. And it was miserable. We could tell the sauna story.
We will,
Yeah, I'll let you tell that because I always tell it, but I feel you'll do a great job in that story. So it was doing a weight cut, hot baths. I don't know if you've ever done them before. Yeah. Holy shit,
rough.
they're rough.
Yeah.
And
man, all he was eating was cream.
Whose?
No further details.
I couldn't know the name. I tried to tell the name.
All he was eating was cream.
Literally was just
covered in it. You couldn't even walk into your house without seeing cream.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You were sharing a room, weren't you?
No, still.
Just when I needed cream. So while I was in that like delirium, I was saying just bullshit to you about the comp because I wanted to win, and I was saying if I need 310 on the deadlift, load it. And 310 was what I needed in the end, and we loaded and I pulled it.
I think therefore I am.
Yeah.
Cool day.
Yeah, it was a cool day because like I pulled 300 for the first time like a couple weeks before, and then I had a shit deadlift session the next one. I was like, oh damn it, I'm not even gonna pull 300 on the day now, and yeah, it was there. And I think it was like I could probably had a bit more in the tank, so that was another like that was exactly the experience I needed at exactly the right time to continue to bolster this like this vision I was building of myself.
They both were both those competitions, I think.
Yeah.
Both unique experiences. One being completely unplanned and on the whim, and you had a great day. So it's like, okay, I'm just strong at baseline. And then two was this huge uptick in training numbers, up to numbers that were probably more in line with how you believed.
Yeah, reps don't count, but
being willing to just throw it on and squat it is still a thing.
Yeah,
it's such a short turnaround. It's not like you were trained in reps, you know.
That squat session for 300, the first time I hit 300 in the gym, 270 planned single, and I hit it, and the boys were like, 300? Thinking I would say no. I was like, yeah.
They don't know you.
Yeah.
They don't know me, son.
Went absolutely mental. Listened to crazy music. Do you know the song Green Onions?
Yeah.
That song.
What?
Yeah, I know, man. It's so
that
weird.
gets you fired up.
Yeah. That's
Crazy.
actually my go-to at the moment.
That's
it was September by Earth, Wind and Fire, and then Phenom ruined that for me. So it's that song now. But and so that came at exactly the right time, and
You're used to that.
Yeah, no, he's not.
No, I'm not used to
Too
that.
early.
Immediately.
Barely gets to the party.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So it's been a year, man. Like I just put up a post, a rare Instagram post the other day. Like
soon not to be.
Hell yeah. A 2024 recap, and because I was sitting there talking to Kate, my girlfriend, and I was like, this has been the best year of my life. What the hell? You know, when do you really really get to say that. Do you know what I mean? It's like absolutely every facet of my life. After like a pretty shit, at least definitely 2 years before that, like this has been absolutely the year of my life. Like all that's gone my way. Personally, things are going my way. Academically, I'm doing a degree in physiotherapy, which I've wanted to do since I was 16 years old. So yeah,
Things are going my way, aka I'm putting things in the way I want them to go.
well, yes, but sometimes that's
So,
not
of
enough,
course.
you know. So it's when this is my, I've critiqued you guys in the past, right, for giving
About what? I'm kidding.
for giving the advice of don't overshoot. Because my advice would be don't max out. Probably don't max out. But sometimes overshooting, that 300 kilo squat in the gym was an overshoot.
Yeah.
Big ass overshoot. Don't regret it for a second. You know what I mean? Because that allowed me to have that moment and to like be able to now look back on that year where and like have these incremental moments that where I can kind of stop and smell the roses. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's kind of like make hay while the sun shines type situation.
Don't get him started, man, on science.
It'll just evolve to us throwing saying.
That is very valid though, and that is a good critique because I would agree with exactly what you just said.
It's I forget the word for it.
I had two lifters who were like 16, and I think it was on Stephen's Day, and they were like, "Can we max out on bench?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, you can!" And then they took like 2 shots, like the pre-workout shot, like 500 milligrams of caffeine each.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was leaving the gym, I was like, just hit something good.
Love it.
You'll be grand.
Love it. So yeah,
I'm definitely I'm for it as well. Like sometimes you just gotta cash in. You just gotta.
Sometimes you do have to cash in.
and even if you do, and it's the worst experience ever, bro, that's important too.
Yeah,
Don't avoid making mistakes. You have to make mistakes.
I love that.
You have to.
That's one of the things in the school talks. One of the slides is that like fear of failure, fear of making mistakes. I have on my phone 100 quotes about failure from like all the most successful people in the world. Haven't even read a quarter of them, I'd say. But it's just the idea that there are so many successful athletes, business people, philosophers, all sorts that talk about failure being a necessary step on the way to success.
Yep.
Not something to be avoided, not something to be fearful of. Like it is a natural, essential part of the process. Lean into it. Fail often. I think it was in what was it? Stephen Bartlett, and for as much as he's up and down with his podcast, one of his books talks about that from the business point of view. That like fail often. Just seek those opportunities because that's where you can learn and make those improvements going forward. Rather than being so hesitant to put yourself out there and try something new. Be ready to have a load of brown shit come out of the tap. Just the more experiences you have, then that whole ticks and crosses thing, you'll be able to get more success at the other end.
It sounds so cliche, and I hate to think that either the kids or students that we're talking to or listeners here are like, oh, sure, they're just saying that. Like, fucking, of course you'd say that when you're this big and strong. But it's like, no, it is actually, like, we're not just trying to, like, sugarcoat, like, oh, it's okay to fail. It's like, it's actually productive to fail.
We've all lived it, you know?
Yeah.
You've lived the failure and then come through the other end. That's what this year was for me. Yeah. If not for any failures, this is just a year, you know?
Good isn't good without bad.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, brother. Yeah. Oh, hell
But how often is that the sentiment? Like, that could be the overarching sentiment in, like, our training discussions. It's like, it is what it is.
Yeah. You know, if it's bad now, it's good because it means you're going to have a good one soon.
Yeah.
You know?
Or another one that I love is like, well, look at what your bad is now compared to what your bad was last year or the year before. You know.
Then there's the whole other idea. I think it's from Hormozy, where it's like if you want to develop these skills and attributes of like resilience, what would you, if you had like a character that you needed them to be resilient at the other end, are you going to give them like an easy life and no challenges or no trials or tribulations? No, you need to go through some difficult stuff to develop the attributes that you want. You don't develop any of these good characteristics through no challenges.
And again, that's powerlifting.
Yeah.
That's powerlifting. Again, it comes back to like why powerlifting. There's a pretty fucking big reason, you know?
What's that other fucking quote about a ship is safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships were built for. That sort of shit like that. You got to go through some stuff, brother. You got to go through some stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, and be a shit, man.
Yeah.
Be a shit.
So yeah, that's it. I'm competing in 8 weeks at the uni old age pensioner.
They changed the rules just for you, brother. They made a whole comp just for you.
They changed the open to OAP.
You know what though?
That's a good one.
You know what? I made that joke. You just stole my joke, motherfucker.
Man, he does that all the time.
He does.
It's like when you say it louder. When you repeat the joke and say it louder.
You know what though? Because I was on the RHPF committee before, and man, one of the worst moments that whole experience was having to say no to a mature student who just wanted to compete for the first time. I was like, sorry, we're beholden to these set of rules by this sporting body, and we can't let you. It's like, what? They're a fucking student too. What? So what they've done this year, that's genius. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
I would never have thought of let's just tack an open onto it. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thanks guys.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that in 8 weeks, and then because the overall goal is to wear the Era singlet.
Say it with your chest, brother. Come on.
Yeah.
But a cool opportunity popped up, and I had to take it.
Oh yes.
So the Pro-Am in series, I don't know, 75 or something. I think it's 22. I think it's series 22 in Dublin, which I'm excited about because I want that Dublin series experience because it's a different thing. And Germany was a bit shit. I'm doing that because my first competition, the 1st of August, 2015, series 22 Pro-Am, the 2nd of August, 2025. I gotta do it.
Yeah,
you know.
You have to.
I mean, how many times over the years has a young powerlifter come up to me and said like, "What do I need to do?" It's just like, I don't know. Talk to me again in 10 years. You know, that's a cool ass one.
I love that.
And I'm going to compete at 93. So I'm gonna weigh in at under 93.
Yeah.
It's 24-hour weigh-in, so it's cheating. So I'll be like 95, 96 kilos, and I'm gonna go for something nice and tasty on the spot. I think. Yeah. And then hopefully nationals. We'll see what the lay of the land is like. But if not nationals this year, 100% nationals the year after, and then it's all eyes ahead to trying to get into westerns.
Man, say it with your chest, brother. Say it with your chest. I think therefore I am.
The fake open.
Oh, he hates westerns, bro.
No, I just hate him going. Everyone else who goes to westerns, fucking, I'm so proud of you. But this fucker I hate, man, that one that he went to.
Man, actually, the guy who did open, sub-junior,
and junior.
Yeah, and
The
university
first one.
one.
The first one.
Man, well, I'm proud of you, man. Well done.
I'm pissed.
Who's that other guy?
Oh, well, second will actually be Andrew, funny enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Second, yeah.
Well done.
You fucking bitch, fucking.
Yeah, it's exciting.
No.
It's exciting. Man, it's going to be open season when you come looking to nationals. Well,
Are we all going to meet in the 105?
No,
we're all in
93.
105s.
Oh, bitch ass.
I think it's time though. It's a time for that. You know, I've been lifting for so long, and like
Time to get shredded.
it's just time to
Do the Agatha, do the shell, do the cut that, get shredded, that's go crazy.
still get outbenched by
Yeah.
No shame in that, brother.
Yeah, no shame.
No, it's just time to like pick for competitive reasons now.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I've done the foundational work.
Yeah.
I'm doing the foundational work, and doing something at the moment that I hope will facilitate a nice round total at 93. That'll get me there.
Load of gear.
Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nah, this has been a thoroughly enjoyable conversation thus far. I've liked it.
I feel like we're only starting.
Do you know what the time is though?
I think we're an hour and 50.
We got more.
Yeah.
We got more.
Go on, ask a probing question, Andrew.
Do you have any questions for us actually then?
I feel like they've kind of come out in the flow of kind of conversation.
Yeah.
But more just like on like talking about like your experience, because that's super. Like we had you on our podcast to talk about that, to
Yeah.
talk about going from sub-junior to junior to open. Like, that's so cool. The first people to do it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nearly.
I'm pissed, man. I'm pissed.
So that's what I'm mostly interested in. And
I'm just gonna start telling people I'm the first. I don't even care, man.
Man, I'm going to unis though.
Yeah, fuck you and your unis, brother. I'm telling people I'm the first.
Oh, that's real.
I back you up on it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It's because, right?
Man, you back him up on any opportunity you
Yeah,
get.
I'm backing up on him, brother. I don't give a shit if he's supporting my cause.
It's supporting all that cause, bro.
Man.
Man, you're gonna bring him down then. Tear him down with me.
Team up with one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm proud of you.
Because no, I'll say, to be fair, he's doing it as an open lifter.
Yeah.
So everyone wins.
Yeah.
Come on.
Everyone
Nah,
That's
don't
two
worry. I'm proud of you,
angles.
brother. And you're in a league of your own with the Unicomp.
Unis is unique, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've done it all. You've actually.
I wonder.
Done it all.
I wonder now when my first opportunity to lift as an open international will be, as in like Irish singlet open lifter.
Westerns count or no?
I would count that
As an open lifter.
Yeah, but like, man, Euro World Championship, European Championship lifter
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there, brother.
Oh, 100%.
Man, you're a,
Yeah.
man. We're not targeting Westerns around here.
I'll
for
say
you,
that
brother.
shit in my chest.
Yeah.
As in, but I guess what you're saying is,
If
in
you
the
did it, like,
meantime,
that's soon.
yeah.
Whereas, like, maybe we're at like the start of like a nice 2-year journey for that. Like,
Heard that. And he coaches Ken.
Oh,
that was
Put
not
your
cool.
foot, man.
Man. That was not cool, man.
man, he snaked you on that one.
Actually, there's an interesting question.
Ah.
Okay. Because it's easy for us to discuss and throw away, but just for people. So Ken, open champ, fucking stronger than he needs to be, right? Right.
What does that mean?
As in, like, crazy strong.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's 105 champ. I want to be 105 champ.
Yeah.
There's 10 other lifters that are aiming for it as well. But on Adam's roster right now, I'm aiming to beat your lifter in a number of years. How are you going to manage on the days that we're both lifting against each other? The next one, I don't think it's going to be a hassle. But as the years go on, we're going to get closer and closer until one day you have to load something for one of us that beats
You're the
other.
golden boy, brother. Come on, Ken's cooked, brother. You're the golden boy. The actual answer. No?
So that's that. To be fair, your guys' like distribution makes it really easy. Well,
Whoa, that sounds crazy. I'd say it does.
it makes it a lot easier because you will have probably subtotal at that time, and Ken will have the deadlift. So it's going to be one of those battles that just plays itself out. It's probably not going to be a case of like fake third attempts, even in isolation, even if like I wasn't coaching both of you. It's just one of those like, obvious things like, will Ken pull what he needs to beat you or not? Simply.
Because he will open heavier. As in,
He'll have running
then he'll
order.
have running
He'll
order,
have
and so
all
it's
those
always
nice
gonna be
little
a little
things
more.
that help. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that'll probably be pretty easy. But like, let's say it's not. Let's take a situation where like it's quite difficult. You just do it honestly. You know what I mean? Like you just do it in a situation. You just play it straight. Like I would have a conversation with both of you and say, you both know the situation. You both know what's going on. In this instance, Ken's gonna do this. He's trying to beat you. You're trying to beat him. I'm just gonna do what I would do for anyone. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what I want. At the end of the day, I'm not making attempted selection decisions because of what I want. I'm making them for the person. It's actually a huge responsibility. You know what I mean? Especially in this sport, because we put so much into it and we make it such a big part of our lives, our personalities, everything. Like a person is trusting you with that. It's crazy. And I felt that pressure before. But I'm so kind of numb to that now that I would just make the right decision for the right for the person in the situation that they're in. It feels quite easy to me.
Would you ever do like a Joey situation where you give a different handler to one of them and take one?
Maybe.
Or is that
Maybe.
I feel like at that stage, you're almost better off giving a different handler to both of them. Yeah.
Maybe.
then it looks like you're picking sides?
But yeah, that's it.
But
Because
that's what we're into.
I also would feel like I am the most qualified to make a call. So if
The
I'm
best,
picking
yeah.
one, you know,
Yeah, you're. You don't trust.
And then I don't want to be like annoyed at someone else for making a wrong call either, or you know, that kind of, there's a lot that goes into it. So I don't know, I'll have to experience it properly to be able to give an answer beyond I would just make
Who's your favorite?
Get out of here, buddy.
Man, our distribution makes it pretty easy.
What are you inferring?
Yeah, I
What's
actually don't even know what you
I
mean.
was talking about SPD, man. What's he talking about?
Why'd
Some
you
other kind of
emphasize
girth
D.
or
Some other kind of D.
Let's be what?
Distribution.
Weird, man. Weird.
But yeah, no, I think yeah, it's a lot easier than people make it out to be. That's something that I've been talking about to other coaches a lot lately.
Yeah.
It's a conversation me and Jack Thornton have had. I think I've had a good bit. Like, I think it's a lot less deep than people make it out to be.
Always.
Anyway.
He deserved that one. He's been
Yeah.
a good boy.
Yeah. Good little boy.
It's not rocket science. Like,
Yeah.
comp day handling is like A, be sound, simple. B, shower. That really helps.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem so simple in some of the crops I've been to, brother.
C is kind of like a concept of like, I like to say that like meet day handling is kind of like giving like a bench lift off, where you're kind of meeting the person with what they're given. You know what I mean? If they're pushing up 70%, you just take 30%. If you take 50%, that's a shit lift off. Similar on comp day, it's like if you're giving the person like a ton of hype and they just don't like want it or visibly need it, then that's not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you can do that, and then do simple mathematics, you're
Valid, yeah.
and like know some rules, not even all the rules. You don't even have to know all the crazy rules. Just like some, and like know what lot number is. I love in powerlifting that people make out lot number as if it's complicated. It's not complicated. It's very simple. So if you can just do that, you'll probably be pretty good. And then just reps.
Yeah, there was something interesting I saw online not too long ago, or maybe we won't go into it, about meet day handling and going 9 for 9 and how you can go 3 for 9 and it's still a great day and stuff like that. It's an interesting topic. We can dig into it, but I don't want to dig into it because I'm going to end up flaming someone and I don't want to flame them.
You can talk about their point without flaming them. You know? Like, my take on that is, like, if you are the winner and that is how it has, then okay. You know? If you've done that multiple times, then okay. Ken, for example, Ken has gone for 2 for 3 on squats this nationals and last nationals. Squats were absolutely pivotal for both comps. It's what the entire competition hinged on, and he fucked up on both of them. You know, arguably, debatable. We got what we needed. He came back and he hit it on his third. But like, I remember last nationals in particular, nationals 2023, which is a crazy battle between 3 very, very good lifters.
So good.
Ken, Melvin, and Dami. Melvin and Dami on paper should have won. Me and Ken said that like at the start, but like me and Ken also said, right, I think everyone knows that, so that's what we're going to play on. You just need to get the chip on the squat. That's all you need to do, and then we'll try and get as many kilos out of that as possible and play for position on third deads and hope the 2 boys miss. That was the entire game plan. And he comes out for his second squat and misses it, and thank God we went for the chip on his second squat, some elite technology over here, because he's got his retake on the third, and thank the heavens he got it. And so then deads come and he dies on his second, but the 2 boys missed on their thirds, and he was able to pick it back up. But yeah, I've just gone into explaining what happened. I forgot what we were talking about.
I think the general premise was like
going 3 for 9.
Yeah, or as opposed to going 9 for 9, and going 9 for 9 is a bullshit metric.
So
apparently.
Both last year and this year, Ken did not go 9 for 9 and won. Cool, you know, he did what he needed to do.
Would it have been better if he went?
If he had got all his lifts, that certainly would have improved the outcome.
Yeah.
It's
If you're consistently going 3 for 9, do you think it's reflective as a coach that you could probably be clean as well?
I remember a thought I had actually when I saw that post. My thought was, so I think the post was like, don't think, don't base your opinion of someone's coaching ability on their success rate at competition. That was kind of the gist of it.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, my immediate thought was, well, they're just different things. Like, if you're choosing a coach based on their competition day attempt selection success rate, yeah, that's a pretty stupid reason
That's
to choose a coach.
yeah,
That's a
it's
very
reason.
weird reason to choose a coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I agree with that, because it's like they're different things. You as a coach and you as a game day handler, they're totally different disciplines, completely different. But to say, so I agree with that premise, but then to extrapolate on that and say like that it doesn't matter it's a bit silly. It's a bit silly, and for sure getting more attempts and thus adding more kilos to your total. I mean,
more success, more good lifts, more better.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
If we're assuming
that you're still making progress, like that's,
and that you're making reasonable attempts, not just making attempts that'll make you go 9 for 9.
Oh, yeah.
But no one does that.
Yeah, that's not a thing. Yeah.
It just doesn't matter.
It's more about the amount of progress that you make. It seemed like a weird.
It just doesn't
angle.
matter.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so much of this.
They don't need to be mutually exclusive. You can make progress and make successful lifts, and that's probably the best thing, rather than making a little bit of progress and then missing loads of lifts.
Yeah. And I think so much of the stuff we get caught up on in life, but particularly in powerlifting, just doesn't matter. You know, the key important underpinning principles are just, I don't know, your training, and you know, it builds up from there in terms of complexity.
What are if you can condense, the most valuable lessons that you've learned in your decade? Give me just like a little elevator pitch of the boom, like the most like condensed little seeds of wisdom.
That's tough.
That's tough.
That is a difficult one. It's probably going to be fine. You're probably going to be okay. Relax.
Like that.
Movement is medicine.
Oof.
So keep moving.
Yeah.
You know, even when it's difficult. Like I actually recently just dealt with like really intense knee pain.
Someone stabbed his knee during the night because all of a sudden it's like
squat was bigger than his. So I was like, I'm gonna squat you to death, my man. Yeah, that one. No, my knee, like really intense knee pain for the first time actually since like back in the day. Remember when I was explaining earlier, and like this knee pain lasted for a whole of maybe 5 days. I mean, my knee hurts right now. I squatted 250 for fatigue single earlier. It's all good, man. You're gonna be fine. You know, because again, like when you understand the mechanisms behind injury, and then like cross-reference that with like injury rates in sport, powerlifting is super safe, unbelievably safe. You know, it's a slow sport where you move slow and you don't do much, like,
and you can control
everything.
The load that's on the bar.
So the assumption should be that pain isn't correlated with injury or pathology, and injury is a sneaky word that can get its claws into your brain in ways you don't understand or can't comprehend until after.
Yep.
So like instead of identifying, like there was days where I definitely lost function, and I didn't call it an injury. You know, it sounds like a weird hill to die on.
Yeah.
But I've found that to be very valuable. I honestly,
I think therefore I am.
Bro.
I'm just gonna keep rinsing that. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a big thing people could utilize immediately in their training. Maybe a lot of people listening right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And see next week immediate effects.
How do you convey that message? Because it's one that is a little bit hard to grasp, perhaps, that it kind of somewhat goes against the grain of what you would expect. How do you explain that to someone, that you may not be injured?
So am I explaining what to do or the why?
Why? Why is it? What is the how? You're telling me that my knee hurts, but I'm not injured. What's going on?
Well, pain isn't necessarily... There's not a one-to-one relationship between pain and injury or pathology or we'll say like structural issues with tissues, all the worst case scenarios, things that go through your brain. You know, I'm like, even me sitting here right now saying this, having approached it the way I approached it, when I first experienced that like intense knee pain, I was like, God damn it, my MCL is there's probably something wrong here. You know, it's like you go straight, your mind goes there, you can't help it. But all you can do is try. All you can do is try. Because there's just nothing wrong with my MCL. I'd be experiencing further symptoms, and it wouldn't just be affecting my ability to do the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift. But that's besides the point. The point is that pain isn't a reliable indicator for injury. What pain is, however, super frustrating. It fucking sucks. Like people misunderstand this conversation because it's one we have a lot on our side of on our podcast. And the word pain experience has been like bastardized over the years, because you can have an intellectual conversation or a theoretical conversation about pain and refer to these things as their kind of as a pain experience instead of an injury. But when you're on the other end of the pain and the injury, it's ass. It doesn't do any justice to know what two lads on a podcast were saying about it. Do you know what I mean? But that's like the misunderstanding that, like, because we talk about it in this way, in a theoretical sense, that this is how we would coach someone through pain. It's absolutely not. If someone's dealing with pain, the first thing you do is meet them in the middle on that golden bridge and hear what they have to say and sympathize with them, empathize with them. You know what I mean? We've all been there where it's like you feel like everything, the house of cards has fallen.
I've had an experience where I was going through a lot of pain, and I said it was with deadlifts, like debilitating pain from like my kneecap to my hip, debilitating. Like it felt like someone was taking hammers. I felt like nauseous, sick, and I said I'm experiencing this knee pain, and I was asked, how does it feel when you squat? And I said I don't get it when I squat, and I was told that's not possible because the moment arms mean that there's more stress in your quads when you squat. And I was sitting there like, are you kidding me? Like, you're telling me my pain's not real? What? I almost lost my mind. So yeah, I would say definitely meet the person where they're at, listen to them, hear them out.
Well, that's just the difference between coaching and regurgitating information. I was going to say knowledge, but it's information. Because okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Moment arms, sweet. Well,
nice. What about my quads?
Yeah, I'm crying.
I'm going to vomit. Like literally on the verge of tears. Like.
Yeah, so you just meet them, sympathize with them, empathize with them. Not everyone's experience of pain is the same. That's why like a 1 to 10 rating system is nearly useless. Nearly. There is still some use cases for it. But yeah, it's addressing the psychological within your scope by just being like a nice individual and like giving people a proverbial hug, in your interactions. That goes an awful long way. So that would be like, step one, and then just trying to inspire them, people, athletes, whoever, normal people, to do what they can do and focus on what you can do. Focus instead of on what is lost, on what is still there. Do that thing, and then next week try and do a little bit more, and then next week try and do a little bit more, and so on and so on and so on. And usually what happens is you have that one session where you do what you can do, and then you're grand. Usually.
Yeah.
There's how frequently has it been like, no, you're fucked for months. We probably all had a couple of experiences, but it's like, of all of the pain experiences that you've had, man, I have a pain experience every morning, man.
When I was in the deficit, I was getting a ridiculous amount of just like things cropping up. You're walking up the stairs and like fucking debilitating knee pain. Someone's like, there's a shard of glass in my knee. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I get upstairs and then it's gone. By the time I'm at the top of the staircase, I'm like, you motherfucker. Yeah. Or my ankle is like, is rode off. And then the next day I wake up and it's gone. And I'm like, you motherfucker, where are you? Where is this pain coming from?
It's in my head.
Yeah. Oh, I think therefore I am.
So like, I mean, the like my approach to my knee pain was like, right, I'll do a squat. Okay, that kind of hurt. I'm gonna do I did some Bulgarian split squats, some other knee stuff, and then did another squat. I was like, that's better. and then just kept adding weight and did that a couple of weeks in a row, and hey, now I'm perfect again.
Yeah.
My knee now hurts more driving than it does squatting, so there we go.
Transferred the pain too.
Oh, hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So yeah, movements medicine.
Yeah.
That would be a big one. And then there's one that I have been trying for literally years now to tie up with a nice ribbon, and I can't. But it's like this, like, people. It's kind of rooted in like Occam's razor, which I'm like cringing when I say now, because it's like one of those, like, you know, when you say like something that sounds like biopsychosocial model. I rarely ever say that now, because it's like at one point I said it a lot, and then it's like, okay, now when you say it, people are all of a sudden not listening to what you're saying. Whereas if you said it slightly differently and just kept the root and related to their experiences, all of a sudden they're all ears, you know. So similar to Occam's razor, but like there's this phenomenon that occurs where people will create extremely complicated solutions to justify an oversimplified version of reality, whereas it should be the other way around, where you acknowledge how complex reality is and then do the simple thing.
I like that.
And if the simple thing doesn't work, make it slightly more complicated.
I like that. That's
You know,
interesting.
so it's like it's allowing complexity and allowing it to be there, but dealing in the simple terms, because that's accessible. Like, I mean, everything when you go far enough is infinitely complex. Everything, you know what I mean? And so like the biopsychosocial model of pain. Have you ever seen the diagram? The diagram of it, where it's like an infinite web of factors. You know, people are that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I acknowledge that. I acknowledge how little effect or impact I can have on that. I acknowledge that I can't be some wizard. You know, I remember when people would refer in the Odyssey group chat to me as a wizard. I fucking hate it. There's nothing magic. There's nothing bro, you're doing a few squats. Chill out.
That is a common thing, though. That my coach is a magician, a wizard, the fucking all-knowing, all-seeing, all-being, fucking eye in the sky.
Doctor Strange. Fucking,
Yeah.
Here's your 3 at 8.
But none of what I'm saying is sexy. It doesn't sell.
The way you say it is pretty sexy.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Especially when you start doing your like voiceovers and stuff. They're gonna be on like season 3 on my phone. Man, but people love to play on that on Instagram and social media as well, where coaches will oversell and overcomplicate to be the wizard figure.
Yeah.
We know that
talk
we're
about
sending it to one another. Saying,
Yeah, all the time we send it, and we're like, nah, it's not that complicated.
Yeah. Stop trying to come across smart, bro.
But that used to fuck me up. I'm like, these guys know some shit I don't know.
What are they reading? I haven't read this shit.
Man, it's like I love that, like, fucking standard deviation thing, like the midwit, where like it's
stupid.
it's real complicated here, and it's real simple either side, and one guy's a fucking idiot, and one guy's
Was
like
it Dunning-Kruger?
Well, Dunning-Kruger is
slightly
slightly different.
What's Dunning-Kruger?
Everyone misunderstands Dunning-Kruger as that.
Yeah.
Where you're
I
like,
refer to this as like the midwit thing. That's what I've heard it
Yeah.
called, where it's really complicated in the middle. When you kind of know some shit, but you don't know everything.
Dunning-Kruger's similar, where it's like, essentially it's like, with more experience you will underestimate your abilities, and with less experience you will overestimate your abilities.
Okay.
But yeah, I love that idea of it starts out real simple, you learn some shit, it gets so confusing, and then you come out the other end being able to condense all of the information into.
You come back to the simple because it's complicated. You know?
Yeah.
You find what it moves the needle most significantly, and it's generally the basics. It's generally something that is super simple.
A thing we used to say all the time was like, follow the trail of athlete response, which is just like a wanky version of saying do what works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're trying to understand why things work, and like you know, our approach to training is like constructed in a way that attempts to make it easier to understand what works, and you still often haven't a fucking clue why. Do you know what I mean? It's like being honest about that. I think that's like, I mean, I'm kind of giving advice to like lifters, but that's all this. The advice can kind of apply vertically, you know, to coaches as well. Where like, yeah, just be honest. Just say you don't fucking know. Like,
That's the big
just say
thing.
you don't
That was
know.
very helpful.
I would respect someone so much, and anyone I respect would also respect someone so much
Yeah.
if they were posed a difficult question and the answer was like,
I don't know. I could try find out, but I don't know.
yeah, even then it's like I can give you some shit I read, you know.
Yeah. I like that a lot. That has been super helpful for myself again, because there is this, I don't know, when you're looking at other people who perhaps are trying to convey that they are the wizard and they are the magician, and you're like, fucking, what is it that I'm missing out on? I need to go figure that out first before I can be confident in my own opinion or sharing my thoughts and whatnot. But brother, you just fucking honest with the information that you have at hand. That's literally what everyone is doing. Everyone is just trying their best with what they know at the moment, and if that changes in the future, then they can change their opinion. But like, just be honest what you do, what you don't know, where you got the information from. Not trying to portray it as this is black and white, exactly what is right and wrong. This is what I think, and that's fucking, you can't fail.
Yeah,
Spot on.
yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
So there, you're fucking. If you could write out on a cheat sheet the fucking recipe for success.
Yeah,
There
be
you go.
wrong, fail, change your mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. What are some things you've changed your mind on? Anything that stands out?
Accessories, we talked about that. I've changed my mind on. I kind of touched on it there. It's weird because I was thinking about this driving up today. I've changed my mind on like how viable it is to find a signal that is truly physiological in nature and can't be altered by the psychological. And the psychological is uncontrollable. You can't control for the psychological. You know, you can create training confines that are in parameters rather that are enjoyable, and that can help. That definitely helps. So finding the signal in the noise is impossible.
This is something that we've talked about a little bit, where and it's part of that trying to be the magician and trying to be the wizard that I've seen people conveying this information of like something super specific training wise that we have figured out through our training. Hey brother, how the fuck could you identify that is the one variable when there's a billion things that are going to influence the rate of progress? How the fuck have you deciphered that this is the one thing?
We realized their third set of their primer bench being at RP7 was the reason they felt so good on their
Waffle.
It's like, but just like how much? Like, let's like, okay, I'll entertain that for a second, right? What about the 15 other fucking assumptions you've got to make about stuff to get there? It's like,
Crazy.
And then, like, I hate that my mind does this. But I am immediately distrusting then of that person. Because it's like, I don't believe you're that stupid.
How did you...
I don't believe you're that dumb.
Yeah, you either are, which is scary, or
you're
are
doing
not,
that
and
on
you're
purpose.
lying.
Yeah. And like, what?
But then it's made me like I think therefore I am. They're telling a story and they believe that this is the case.
I like to think
and
it is that.
And then the lifter believes that this guy has fucking cracked the code. He's this technician, mastermind. He found out that super specific thing. Fuck, I'm in safe hands,
and
brother.
People misinterpret what that is as science or evidence-based approach, and what I'm saying as like woo-woo. It's like, it's the opposite. It's the fucking opposite.
Man, if people could only see the lengths that you have to go to in statistics to decipher whether something is significantly significant, suggesting that something could be viable. Man, the lengths of like stuff you have to write down to start to suggest that about something is insane.
Maybe that ties into your creating a complicated story to justify an oversimplified view. And that is exactly what it is.
Greg Knuckles did a presentation at EPC this year, just gone. It was excellent. You should buy that. You should buy that video series on.
Do 500 quid?
Bro,
that's crazy. In fairness, I looked at the tickets and then I went, "Whoa!"
I think the like video package of it's like 50 quid or something.
Okay,
it's doable.
I'll ask ChatGPT to fucking summarize it for me.
Greg's point in one of his talks was on like the unlikely nature of having any level of comprehensive literature on what works and what doesn't work. And it's like every extra thing you're looking to measure requires a disproportionate increase in the population size or the sample size of that study. So by the time, like the most basic training program, you've got like 10 parameters. Yeah? Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
About 10 parameters in the most basic training program. The sample size, the population of that studies has to be like 250,000 people to actually accurately be able to discern anything. Yeah.
When you do a power analysis and like analysis of variance on 10 parameters on each other, you need like 250,000.
Ridiculous. So shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nuts to say things in this like complicated looking way is not evidence based. It's not scientific. I think my position here qualifies more closely to that. And the reason I say it's impossible to find signal in the noise is what we're talking about. Does that mean I'm not trying to find signal in the noise? No, I'm still trying to find signal in the noise. It's this like one or the other. There is no, it's not binary. You live in the middle, you live in the gray, and that's difficult. And again, it doesn't sell well.
Yeah. One of the best explanations I heard for this was when people are trying to convey that, like, with the training program, they're like a super precise sniper and they're sniping this perfect, like, training outcome that they have lasered in everything, as opposed to you're just getting a shotgun and trying to go fucking blast in the general right direction and just spray some shit over there and hopefully it will land in the area that we want it to.
And if they say, man, I felt great after those whatever you prescribed on day 3, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Logged.
Yeah.
It's like training data.
Yeah.
What's the most important training data you receive?
What do you mean?
What's the most important training?
The person talking.
Yeah. What's the most important training data you receive?
Feedback from the lifter.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, does their tonnage ever really impact your training prescriptions? It doesn't, except for his tonnage.
Tonnage determines
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. That was a good one. Is there any views that you have that you've not been able to express or you've not had the avenue or
I
medium
really
to?
wanted to get that one out because that's something I've like been trying to get out for ages and not been able.
First thing you can post on Instagram is clip that now.
There you
Post
go.
it.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
worry,
this is gonna
we're
be
here
great.
to
Yeah.
get it out of you, brother.
You're gonna be seeing this for the next year. I'll just post like word by word. Follow for more.
Class.
No. I'm just happy to be sitting here talking to you guys. Legitimately, genuinely. It's funny because like I always, whenever we have a guest on the podcast, which is infrequent because it's hard to do online. This is the only way to do it, honestly. Online, it's really, really difficult unless like both parties are technologically aware and also have great hardware and great, equipment.
Andrew's got some great hardware.
It's hard to find two people with great equipment.
And that's why he ended up here, brother.
Software.
I don't know about you, brother. Speak for yourself.
Hell yeah. So, I appreciate you guys.
No, it's
I'm genuinely so excited to see both of you continue to do this, and I'm so excited just to see where this goes. And I want the best for both of you, obviously, because I care about both of you. But like, I don't give a fuck where it goes. I just want to see you keep talking and doing this, because I'm noticing as well. I listen to every episode. And fuck that guy who voted 1 star.
Prick!
Yeah.
Fucking dog bastard, man. Dog bastard. You
Imagine it's one of us by accident when we're going through
but like seeing you guys, even just in the space of how long have you been doing this? 2 years?
Just a year.
A year,
That's
man. Like,
Yeah.
listen to have you gone back and listened?
Yeah,
And it's like, God, I was
babies.
silly Billy, man.
Yeah.
You know, but no, seeing you just get better at doing this and get better at like. At the start, maybe there would have been some times where like you would have like qualified something you were going to say, or qualified like a bit of vulnerability or being your genuine self. Whereas now you're just not.
Nuts out,
Yeah,
brother.
hell yeah.
Let the nuts hang.
So no,
Say it one more time.
Nuts all over the place. Uncovered nuts everywhere.
So we clearly have found our way. Got into a position where we can have our nuts.
and I think that's important.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like, actually, this is something I want to talk about because,
Okay.
like, have you guys felt limited yet by powerlifting?
In what sense?
in just talking about stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As in wanting to branch out and talk about other things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Other like phenomena, world things that are happening, or things that are important to you.
I haven't felt, yes, powerlifting is restrictive, but I don't think I felt restricted by the podcast being specifically powerlifting. I feel like if we wanted to talk about something, I would be willing.
I think we have done it a little bit, but we've had conversations about like, what do we talk? Do we keep it as just powerlifting?
Yeah, we have.
Do
yeah.
we expand onto other things? I think we're expanding.
Yeah.
I think
definitely.
okay. I'll talk about this because now we're in a position where I will like edit and produce the podcast ourselves. There was definitely considerable periods of time where that was hindered because we were paying to have the podcast produced and edited. And if we felt as though we didn't have a topic for us to cover that would last like 2 hours of significant value, we were like, I don't really want to pay that much money for something that is sort of just like a filler episode. If we're paying this amount of money, I want to make sure that it's worthwhile.
Movie, yeah.
And we ended up, it would go 4 weeks with no podcast. We were then like overthinking what it was that we would actually cover then. Then we were kind of doing podcasts just to fill it up because it had been so much time. And then I know for myself anyway, I was coming away with like just a bad taste in my mouth. Okay, well, I'll laugh about that one. A bad taste in my mouth.
As long as you have a good taste now.
I have a great taste now. Because it's like, oh, we've spent this amount of money and I'm not super. Yeah, this can is closed, by the way. We just left it there for the video. I tried to take a sip out of it earlier.
You laughed.
I did laugh. Yeah, it like hindered the flow. We didn't want to make that many podcasts. Whereas now, that's kind of, as we mentioned in the last one, there's not really anything stopping us from doing like weekly episodes now. And just continually letting that flow of information of whatever is relevant in our lives or whatever
Let the
we're
tap flow,
and I've even noticed, say, just like making clips again, because I went through a big hiatus of not posting on Instagram, and then I had quite a bit of that posting anxiety and stuff coming back to it. But I've noticed from making the clips from the most recent one, I fucking love it. And I could easily make clips of us doing podcasts like every week and just have that always going out. And it doesn't have to be some unbelievable hitter that's going to get like 1 million views. I'm just sharing the stuff that I think is relevant to me. And if I think it's valuable to me, hopefully it will be valuable to other people who kind of think like me. And that's literally just the mindset now. Just keep throwing them out because it's really enjoyable to make. And hopefully it is providing some sort of value. And kind of going back to the olden days of 3 posts a week, like you got to be putting shit out there for people to see it. If you're not in front of people's faces, they're not thinking about you. So yeah, do you know Gary V?
Mm-hmm.
Gary Vaynerchuk? He's someone who I would like quite a bit in the content realm. I remember seeing one clip in particular where he was at a convention or something, and there were this couple that came up to him who had some form of business, and their mission statement was they want to change the world. And he was like, how many pieces of content are you putting up at the moment? And they were like, oh, well, basically we just brought on a new team member. And he's like, how many pieces of content are you putting up at the moment? But over the last couple of months, it's been a little bit different. How many pieces of content are you putting out? And you go, maybe 1 post a week. And he was like, are you fucking kidding me? You want to change the world and you're putting out 1 post a week? Get your head out of your ass. And he's like, take your phone out right now and make a post. And they're like, what do we post about? And he's like, tell me one thing that you guys do. And they start saying it. He's like, fucking record it and post it and put it out. If you're not in front of people's faces, they don't fucking know jack shit about you. So that's the motive now for 2025. Get back out there, get posting some content, get my ideas out into the ether, into the social media sphere.
Isn't it crazy that by the end of this year we could have another 50 episodes out?
Oh man, absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think
Where
you
will
guys.
we be then?
We're in front of people's faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you guys are doing an important thing, and it's something I think we've talked about recently.
Yeah.
Which is like the role of like comedy in life.
Yeah.
And like I know what happened. Maybe it was COVID, but like, man, like there seemed to be like a lack of like comedy in like. I mean, there's like being a comedian and there's comedy. They're not the same thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things that you guys say to each other is comedy. You're not comedians.
Yeah. No, I'll never claim to be. Stuff I say is bullshit. Andrew's night alarm.
And an alarm went off. Do you know when I set that alarm, I was like, there's no way in hell we'll still be recording by this time. It's to put the bins out. and the alarm went off.
Bullshit. It said sleepy time. It's 8:15 p.m. Okay? Some shows haven't started yet on TV.
Anyway.
To TLDR,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is appreciate you guys. I think what you're doing is great. Keep doing it.
Thanks so much. It was a pleasure to have you on this. This is one of the most enjoyable episodes that we've done.
Has been.
Thanks so much, and we will.
Right, bye.
That's a wrap.